5 weeks ago, the 10th Women's Rugby World Cup kicked off at Sunderland's Stadium of Light, and it was immediately apparent that this tournament, this sport, would never be the same again. Anne-Marie performed, and then so did the Red Roses, thumping the USA before a record crowd and igniting the touch paper on a mesmeric event. They made their way south, swatting aside Samoa and Northampton before storming past Australia in what became a rugby carnival in Brighton. Scotland, concertinas, an almighty scare against Les Bleus survived, and here they find themselves 80 minutes from glory on home soil. In their way, 23 snarling Canadians who might have arrived dubbed dark horses, but are very much challengers today. So welcome to the Allianz Stadium in Twickenham, where there is not a spare seat to be found, but there is a World Cup to be won.
Well, the time has come. It is finally here. The Women's Rugby World Cup has arrived.
The white mall is motoring and crashes down. And Sadia Kabea will open England's Rugby World Cup account and bring a capacity Stadium of Light to its feet.
People just need to keep their eyes peeled. We're going to keep on getting better, getting stronger and finding more gaps.
Meg Jones, as she so often does, pulling a rabbit from a hat. England have the bonus point try in 16 minutes.
The pick up and try, and a second try in 2 minutes. And Morwenna Talling stops it down, and massive problems now for Scotland.
Who else but Ellie Kildun, a big game player, steps up. There is the cowgirl celebration.
I'm absolutely buzzing. This is all we've been dreaming of.
Welcome to Bristol, and welcome to the first of two incredible Women's Rugby World Cup semi-finals. New Zealand, the reigning six-time champions, against Canada, ranked number 2 in the world.
Sometimes we're underdogs, apparently.
Yay! Scores for the Canadians. Dream world right now for Canada. Disaster zone for New Zealand.
Then we graduated into a dark horse.
Lovely soft pass there to Goody, who's put on the burners. Try! The best player in the world, picking a line from the gods.
I knew Canada had it in them. I've been banging on about it all week.
Now we're sitting as contenders.
Stolen on the floor, brilliant play by Canada. They'll get it off the field, and that is it. Canada reached their second Rugby World Cup final.
No matter what the outside narrative has been, we have so much pride and belief in ourselves.
England's Red Roses are 80 minutes away from joining the Maples in the big dance. Standing in their way are their familiar foes in blue, France.
Oh, Kildun's away. Surely she's going to put the burners on. Kildun. Oh, that's audacious.
The stands erupt. England have done it. They are off to the big dance at the home of English rugby.
We feel the love. Keep it coming. This is not the end.
Well, with all due respect to the Gulf, if you are looking for this weekend's big European North American clash, then you have found yourselves in the right place at a sun-dappled Allianz Stadium in Twickenham, where Machine Gun Kelly's lead guitarist Sophie Lloyd is shredding her way across the immaculate turf before us. I'm Claire Thomas. It is such a pleasure to have your company, as it is to be alongside a pair of analyst extraordinaires for the afternoon in World Cup winner Cat Merchant and former Wales Sevens skipper Philippa Tuttier. Philippa, excited? Nervous? A little bit stunned?
Oh my gosh, everything in the middle and all of that. It's like Christmas all over again when you were a 5-year-old. It's just incredible. I wish I had your handle on the English language to be able to do these scenes justice, because I feel like I just can't. But honestly, if you could bottle this up now, this is just amazing.
It is such a privilege to have your company today, Kat, because you were on the field when England last won a World Cup back in 2014 against the Canadians. There's a delicious sense of deja vu to all of this. So what is it like sitting here and reflecting on all that has gone and all that has come in since?
Well, just looking around and seeing a full packed out Twickenham Stadium, I think if you told me that when I was 28 playing in 2014, I'd have been like, no, I just don't know if it can get there. I just wouldn't have believed you, and to be here today and experience it it is absolutely incredible. I can only imagine the players, what they're feeling, looking around, seeing all of this, the energy, the focus. This World Cup has delivered so much, and I expect nothing but the best in this final.
Well, there are two things glimmering here in West London. The World Cup trophy on a plinth before us, before the tunnel, and the glittery trousers of Sophie Lloyd, who is playing what I think has become a bit of an unofficial anthem for this tournament in Bon Jovi's Living on a Prayer. England have got a Guitar Hero set in camp by all accounts, so they have been doing their own Sophie Lloyds in the week, and it is the same 23 that John Mitchell has picked from the semi-final for today. So a front row of Bosserman, Cockayne and Muir, Tarling and Ward, the lock pairing, Zoe Aldcroft captains across the flank from Cabea, Matthews at the base, her fourth consecutive World Cup final, Hunt and Harrison the halfbacks, Hurd and Jones in the midfield, and a back three of Breach, Dow and Kildunn. The past predicts the future, John Mitchell said of his selection. He believes in cohesion. Kat, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, I was keen for the back line to be mixed up a little bit coming into this game. However, I do like that Mitchell's gone, do you know what? No, we're sticking with you. We're trusting you. I do need to see something different from the back line. They haven't quite clicked yet. I'm hoping that they do the job today, but there's an incredible bench ready to come on as well. So that could be the difference in those last 20 minutes of this game.
England up for a 5-3 split on the bench, so 5 forwards and 3 backs. Canada want muscle down the home straight. They've gone 6-2, but their starters today, Hunt, Totosi and Menon, De Goody and O'Connell the second row, Crossley and Pacan on the flank, Forteza at the base, Peltier, Pez, Perry, Tessier captains, and a midfield pairing with Simons, which has carved defences asunder. And then out wide, Hogan, Rochester and Corrigan with Shell at the back. The flags are being unfurled before us. The pyrotechnics have kicked off, not for the first time today. Philippa Tussiett, they are an incredibly conditioned bunch, the Canadians, but they've played a lot of rugby. Any concerns?
Yeah, they have played a lot of rugby, and not only here at the World Cup, but it came to apparent that they played the most amount of warm-up games as well. But cohesion is key for them. We talked a lot about the fact that these individual players play rugby all over the world, so they've got to try and harness the time they've had together. And look, they've performed throughout. One last game, just one last game, and they could win a Rugby World Cup.
Well, pink and gold are the colours of this World Cup, if Living on a Prayer is its anthem, and smoke plumes in those shades are drifting across the cloudy skies here in London. We are about to see the teams out on the field. So Kat, I want to talk to you a little bit about how important the first quarter of this match is going to be. Canada blew the Black Ferns, the reigning champions, out of the water on Friday night last week, but we know England finished hard.
Yeah, that's it. Canada come out so strong, and they have done throughout the whole tournament. England start a little bit slower. They can't let Canada get ahead. They need to start strong as well.
Well, I don't reckon that our microphones are even slightly doing justice to the roar that has just gone up here at the Allianz Stadium, where you cannot see a single unoccupied green seat. We've been breaking world records ever since this competition started, and today we shatter another one. There are going to be close to 82,000 here. There's been a black market for tickets for weeks and weeks and weeks as we see red roses, game faces on, visors snapped down in the tunnel, in the guts of this arena, all in white, Canada alongside them in red. Kat, there's been plenty of talk of pressure on this side. England have now won 32 test matches in a row. The last time they lost was the World Cup final. The World Cup final before that, they found themselves suffering the sting of silver. How much expectation is on these women?
There's a lot of expectation on them, but they are used to delivering, and I think you just have to let everything that's gone before in World Cup, it's irrelevant. The only thing that is relevant is this next 80 minutes.
Out they come, Zoe Aldcroft, the tall figure in an immaculate white anthem jacket, leading out the world number one. They have conquered all before them, including a quartet of victories over Canada this cycle. Canada in crimson, maples on their chests, and as ever, smiles on their faces. They were so relaxed in the week. When I went and visited them, I spoke to Asian Hogan Rochester, to head coach Kevin Rouet, and to skipper Alex Tessier, who stands in a blaze of auburn curls with a red scrunchie on top of her head alongside her tiny little mascot, and they were horizontally laid back. They have every right to be confident. They have been mesmeric at this championship, and even John Mitchell admitted in the week they are the form side here today. Before we cut the ribbon, before we light the touch paper, let's have the anthems.
If you are able, please remain standing for the national anthem of England.
Meg Jones tried to tell us in the week when we spoke to her at the Lensbury England's team base that this was just another game. You've got tears in your eyes. It's an absolutely extraordinary occasion. This is not just another game, is it?
It's not just another game, and I think us on this side of the pitch can appreciate it for how amazing that it is. But on the pitch, they absolutely, as Meg said, they have to treat this as just another game, because otherwise you can overdo it. You know, the energy just tips too far the other way. People do crazy decision-making things, so they have to stay grounded. But there is no way that this can't creep in. It's going to creep in their head. They know it's not just another game, but they have to tell themselves that.
Well, in readiness for 80,000 here at the Allianz Stadium in London, Canada have been training with headphones on all week, just as Team Europe have been training with VR headsets before facing the vociferous and unforgiving crowds out in New York. Full coverage of that over on Sports Extra 3, by the way. But the Canadians, they are used to being the villains. They know how to poof a party. They knocked France out of their home Olympic Games just last summer before 66,000 at a baying Stade de France. Fittingly, for a grand finale of a tournament which has seen records tumble at every turn, we have a history maker in the middle today. Holly Davidson becomes the first referee to oversee 2 Women's World Cup finals, the latest ceiling to fall victim to the trailblazing Scots. Her assistants, Amy Barrett-Caron and Clara Munarini, and on TMO duties today is Leo Colgan. It was Davidson on the whistle at Eden Park, and all of those here in cowgirl hats with roses on their cheeks and flag drapes on their shoulders hope that the tears at full time on this occasion are of a very different complexion, because these England women win and England expects. Canada all in red, and in their second ever World Cup final, England in white at home and with vast pressure on brawny shoulders, but the better part of 80,000 behind them. Zoe Harrison will get things underway. The fly half for England, who has been playing knockout rugby at the very highest level since she was a teenager, who swears every time you speak to her that it is 4 white lines, it is 80 minutes. Nothing changes. Canada know the magnitude of this. They haven't been at this stage of a World Cup in over a decade. And they've got all the tools to finish the job. Here we go for all the marbles. Buckle on up. Simons receives that kickoff right in the heart of the field and carries up to just before the 10-metre line. It's the first touch of the day for Hunt, Canada's loose head. Right to left, the Canadians play. And now De Goody, nominated last week for World Player of the Year for the second time at just the age of 26. Up rises O'Donnell, Courtney O'Donnell. Now Perry, the fly half, onto Tessier, the captain, through the hands of Canada. Simons outside centre onto Hogan Rochester, who plays with glitter on her cheeks and mismatched boots. Rugby is art, she says. But if this is about to be art for 80 minutes, it is about to be some sort of gory medieval painting. No love lost out there. Penalty to Canada right away.
Yeah, England just defending really well to start with, as Canada are really relentless in their attack, but just got caught there. Abby Dow playing the 9, and that's a dream start for Canada.
Yeah, I think England, one of their main things in this game is going to be to try and slow down the Canadians' ball. So when it does go to the ground, they kind of want to keep it there for a little bit, and that's where you can see hands coming in. But it's got to be done legally, and unfortunately there you saw the England player just catch in the 9, which you can't do.
So this coverage of the World Cup final, the 10th Rugby World Cup, and the biggest and best edition we have ever seen. Totosi nails her darts onto De Goody. Canada with ball in hand inside England's half for the first time. Simons finding Hogan Rochester in off her wing. Shell picking out Corrigan, who's scampering up and into the 22. A first visit for the women in red. 2 minutes played, and it's been one-way traffic so far. O'Donnell carrying. Hard and direct. It's the only way the lock forward knows. De Goody with a pirouette and a pass out the back. Tessier, flat pass dropped and knocked on by Forteza. England will have the put in just outside their 22.
Oh, Canada are just looking so dangerous. I think we're all pretty nervous about the way they're able to get that ball so flat and out to the wings, but just a handling error in there just gives England a chance to breathe, to play himself out of here. First chance we get to see England attack.
So ball in hand now is Natasha Hunt, better known as Mo, so keep an ear out for that over the course of our coverage. And what a story this would be for her. Started the final in 2014, started the final in 2017, bereft, heartbroken to be omitted from the England squad altogether the last time this tournament was staged. And here she is, wearing 9 and a rose on her chest for the 3rd time in a storied career. England scrum inhales Canadian bodies, and down the short side they come. Up to the 10-metre line is Dow. Hogan Rochester made an essential tackle there out wide. Canada so quick to organise themselves defensively, and they are tight, and they'll need to be, because Morbier will take some stopping. She's carrying along with Tarling in the second row for England. Bottoman looking to spin and pinball her way up over the 10-metre line, and she's managed it before she is stopped. Back into the pocket goes Hunt. Harrison switches the point of attack, hoists that one high, and it's going to land right on the halfway line. Patted backwards, gathered by Perry. Canada's fly half with a little bit of room in which to work. Breach looking to make the tackle and eventually brings down the standoff. Here is De Goody, the World Cup's top carrier. And right in the middle of things there is Sadia Kabea for England, the World Cup's top tackler. Over the ball, Hannah Bottoman appealing for the penalty, but off feet, says our referee, so Canada can play on, but they're in their own 22 here now. Shell looking to run it from deep, picks out Hogan Rochester. That was a beautiful pass. Kicking it down the touchline is the winger. It's going to skittle into touch, but good territory gain. Smart kick from the Olympic silver medalist.
Yeah, fantastically timed kick there, because it was a bit scrappy getting the ball to her. Flat pass. She'd got a little bit of an edge on Dow, but Dow's quick. That cover tackle was coming across. She would have gone into touch, so a lovely touch there.
That's the voice of World Cup winner Kat Merchant, who's alongside me. Philippa Tussiett, your thoughts on these first 4 minutes?
Oh, it's exactly what we were hoping for, wasn't it? We've gone 22 to 22, side to side, tempo, energy, and still I don't know who's going to win it from these early stages.
Well, England have lost the line out just outside their 22, so Canada again looking to turn the screw territorially. Forteza has it. There's a 2-on-1 here if they can just execute. She gets it onto Hogan Rochester, who's going to score for Canada. Canada strike first. Not 5 minutes gone and they lead lead, 5-0, kick to come, and it's Hogan Rochester who scores it.
We knew that Canada were going to start strong, and they have done it all throughout this tournament. England yet to be able to attack much, so we don't have to panic just yet, but what a start from Canada. They are really looking to get it from wing to wing.
Yeah, Claire, I love that interview you did on the Rugby Union Weekly podcast with Asia herself, who said if you haven't got confidence, you can still be brave. And she was brave right then. She took her chance, and it's first points to Canada.
From 5 metres in, this a testing kick without the pressure of it being a World Cup final. Sophie de Goede, who might play as a lock forward, but is the kicker for this Canadian outfit, swings an almighty leg through it, and the flags, it's gone off the woodwork. Looked for all the world like she was going to draw that one in, but the flag stayed down, the post flash red. It's Canada leading 5-0 with 6 minutes gone.
And what's really important now is off this kick-off for Canada. They need to retain the ball, they need to move up. England need to put all the pressure in the world on this. Big chase, be disciplined in their defence and look to try and win that ball back.
Deep kick-off from Harrison. It's again down the throat of Simons, who's playing with heavy tape on her knee. We did wonder about her fitness ahead of this one, and they will be thrilled that the 23-year-old is able to play such a mazy, graceful runner with feather-light touches at her disposal. Nothing feather-light about that. Big carry from Dalika Menon, the tight head. Canada inside their 22, and again looking to run it. We talked about how much rugby these Canadian women have played, but no signs of fatigue just yet. Crossfield kick from Tessier. Dow did really well just outside the 22 to keep it in field, and Matthews has a carry. First chance introducing Alex Matthews into our commentary here. Out the back door from Dow. England dancing on the 10-metre line just inside Canada's half. Hogan Rochester seeing the world number 2s get up and running and purring just as they have done time and again this campaign. No nation has started better than Canada at this World Cup. High tackle coming in from Forteza, so it's England with advantage, and Kildun skips the tackle, beats the first defender, beats the second, floors it. Ellie Kildun from 40 blistering metres will score for England. She's levelled it up with a wonder try.
Oh my gosh, Claire, you just said it. That was a wonder try. That was something out of nothing. It seemed like Canada had bodies in front of her, but all of a sudden she just sliced through like she had an invisible cloak on. And then that step back inside. We saw it in the semis. We've seen it again. Wow.
I'll tell you what, Ellie Kildun is a big game player, because that try there, no rights to score it, beats 3 players. It's the confidence she just exudes it every time she gets the ball in hand. She just delivers an incredible moment to do it.
And she had the wherewithal to score right beneath the sticks, so Harrison ensures it is a full points haul. 8 minutes played, England leading for the first time in this World Cup final. And if I had any notes for Ellie Kildun, it would be that she scored on the 7-minute mark, and it was 3 minutes in the last World Cup final, so she slowed down a little bit.
Yeah, credit where that is due though, like taking those moments, and it is those pressure moments. There's a lot of chat about Ellie Kildun, how great she is, but you have to back it up, and she's done just that at a really critical moment for England.
Well, she's got 80 minutes left today to enjoy being World Player of the Year before the baton is passed to Georgia Miller, to Sophie de Goede, or to her teammate Meg Jones, and she wants to make every one of them count. Deep kickoff bounces into the dead ball area. Harrison finds Kildun, who sends a spiralling effort over halfway. So 9 minutes played, England 7, Canada 5 in this World Cup final, and Alex Tessier carries up to the 10-metre line. It's a bouncing, awkward offload. That's hoovered up by Holtkamp. They go down the short side. Forteza out with some mazy footwork. Tatiana Hurd needs to make that tackle and does. Peltier, Canada's ruck speed has been relentless, something that other nations haven't been able to live with. And so far, England are just about weathering the storm. Flat pass from Perry onto Paquin on the 10-metre line. Canada with options to the right and the left here. Peltier with a little snipe, looks to find a goodie on her shoulder, but the ball is knocked on, and England will feed a scrum.
I'm a big fan of Pelletier, but I think that snipe there through the middle wasn't on. I think there was numbers out to the right for Canada. They should have utilised that because England were tightening up around that breakdown and there was space out there, so I think that's an error.
10 minutes played and 2 points in it over on 5 Live. Our 3 o'clock Premier League kickoff is Palace up against Liverpool. Over on Sports Extra 2 it's Chelsea up against Brighton, and then Sports Extra 3 will be live Ryder Cup coverage wall to wall until way past your bedtime. So stick with us here and we will bring you everything from a capacity Allianz Stadium in Twickenham. Front rows of Bottoman, Cockayne and Muir up against Hunt, Totosi and Menon. This time, it looks as though Matthews... No, we will have that scrum again.
Same scrum.
Yeah, they want to get this right because we've seen England's scrum dominance has been pretty strong throughout this tournament. They really tore up against France, but the Canada scrum is strong also, so a really interesting battle between the packs today.
Out of curiosity, who do I come to if there's a scrum penalty here? Because I've got...
Philippa.
What, because she played marginally closer to scrums when she was an international?
Crouch!
So, Mo Hunt stood alongside Peltier, Polly Davidson, our trailblazing referee, and between the pair of them and 16 enormous pairs of biceps getting to work. Hunt chips it out to the left-hand side here. Now is Meg Jones, gets it onto Breach with 1 to beat. It's her teammate, Alicia Corrigan from Saracens, and she's done her. Tackle though from Paquin. England win the penalty just outside the 22.
This is what we've been wanting to see from England. We want to see them linking up, like getting Jess Breach in space. We've not seen the passes be too crisp so far, but fantastic there.
Penalty driven deep into the corner. Could potentially have got some more distance on that, Philippa. They're 10 metres out.
Yeah, potentially, but you know how dominant their driving line-out maul is. Anywhere within possibly on the 22, you'd still back England.
Well, they did it against France, didn't they? That was a 20-metre rolling maul try.
Alarm bells are ringing here for Canadians because Abby Ward has brought it down, and England's big white tractor has, well, immediately been felled, excellently sacked by the Canadians. So Cockayne scampers around the corner. Hunt feeds one of her forwards. Hunt feeds another one. This is Bottoman, and now England to within 6. 12 minutes play. They're leading Canada, the world number 2s, by 7 points to 5. And it's just about a knock-on. Oh, the crowd think they've scored it, but it was knocked on through the pick and go there.
Oh yeah, because that was a score otherwise for Talling, but just a knock on in the breakdown in the lead up to it. But great defence from Canada there, because you have to say England were looking very, very dangerous.
Really big defensive set, isn't it, from Canada? One, to deal with their line-out maul legally. Not many teams in the world can do that. But then also to be able to keep out their one-out carriers so close to the try line. Again, not many teams in World Rugby can do that.
So we will have a Canadian scrum, and the heels of Fabiola Forteza, the Stade Bordelais number 8, will be right on the 5 metre marks before their own try line. This under huge pressure. Staring down the side, we've now won 32 test matches in a row. Peltier looks one way but sends it the other to the open side this time. Perry, ball in 2 hands, no look pass onto Simons. The scything outside centre offloads to Hogan Rochester. That's knocked on through contact. England on the counter just outside their 22. 7-5, they lead this World Cup final. Kildone with the crossfield kick, gathered by Shell. So the knock-on advantage has been lost. Shell sends that deep into the English half, and she's done really well there, Julia Shell.
She has. That's an absolutely beautiful kick there. Hogan Rochester, though, was looking at, she thinks that shot on her was high. She was indicating to the touch judge for them to have a look at it, but doesn't look like they're going to come in.
Back on your front, player.
Our referee just reassembling this line out, which will be thrown by Amy Cockayne before us absolutely packed out stand. We cannot underline enough how many people wanted a ticket for this game. Harrison has slightly sliced a kick off that line out. It's going to fall on the halfway line. Oh, knocked on by Corrigan. That's so frustrating for the winger.
Yeah, really frustrating, because normally she takes those ones, but it was a horrible pat down to her, which are difficult to take at the best of times, but she will be disappointed, because this is England just inside the halfway line with a midfield scrum, so they can attack either way off of this, so this is horrible to defend against.
15 minutes played of this one. We had a brilliant start from the Canadians. Asia Hogan-Rochester screaming over in the far corner before Ellie Kildun reached into her hat and pulled out another one of her seemingly endless supply of bunny rabbits. Scoring converted by Zoe Harrison, so it is England leading 7 points to 5.
Have a come. Here we go. I'm not seeing any overleaning. Okay, don't stand up. Here we go. There's your mark.
Holly Davidson hasn't overseen an England match since events at Eden Park that fateful afternoon. New Zealand 34, England 31. The Red Roses performing so valiantly despite losing Lydia Thompson to a red card in the 18th minute, leading for swathes of that match. They've prepared for this. They've talked so much about scenario planning, about unfairness. But right now, there are 15 brilliant English women on that pitch and 15 fabulous Canadians, and it's England with the ball through. Alex Matthews setting off into the Canadian half. Pass doesn't stick. It goes right past Ellie Kildun, past the outstretched fingertips of Abby Dow and into touch, and that Cat Merchant a worrying sign.
Yeah, so that's more what we've seen of this England backline, just a bit scrappy. The pass from Hunt to Kildun too far ahead of her, there's a knock on, and then Kildun tries to lift it to Dow, who then can't take it, goes into touch.
How many?
And I'm not being funny, that was an 8-9-15. That's probably the second move you learn when you first start playing rugby. Like, they would have run that 1,000,002 times. For that not to connect here, that's frustrating.
1,000,002, very specific. have you been spying on the England camp?
Your drone, Philippa. Emily Tatosi manages to get the line out throw just inside Canada's half. It's 7-5. England leading the Canadians, who have it at the back of a big, beefy maul. Up to halfway. No look. A little tip on from Tessier. Out now onto Julia Schell. Ellie Kildun has 2 to mark, but instead the fullback kicks it out on the full. A mistake.
Yeah, but also, why kick that? Like, that just pass to Corrigan. Like, that pass goes to hand. They had the room out there. Kildun was in. Breach was sat back. Got to go, hands. Don't kick that.
Julia Schell, who has played every minute of this campaign, the only athlete at the World Cup who has played 400 minutes, well, 417 now on this stage. She's in the backfield now for Canada, who will defend this line out. England is shaping for something. Oh, it's down off the top, onto her to arrive with a head of steam. The trick play. And the inside centre carries up to the 22. Canada offside. So Hannah Bottoman has it now and rumbles into the 22. England with a free hit, a penalty at worst. We will come back for that penalty, and it's just outside the 22. England with a chance to bury it deep in Canadian territory. 7-5 they lead.
Yeah, they're absolutely going to go for corner here. They're going to be confident. Canada managed to defend their line out before, but they'll be really wanting to make sure that this ends up in points.
Lovely nudge off the boot of Harrison. It will be a 5-metre throw-in. And Philippa, they were so impressive last time, the Canadians, but you wonder how long the dam can stand.
Yeah, absolutely. The one thing England are very good is learning what their defence is doing. So we've seen it before where teams maybe have got the upper hand of them defensively at line out, but they'll learn quick.
Our second rows take line-outs very seriously, Amy Cockayne said in the week, but it was their captain, the flanker, Allcroft, who brought this one down. England 2 metres from a second score, but half of Canada are in, looking to disrupt this one. Looks like they might well have done it. They've stalled the momentum for now, and Hunt slaps the backs of her forwards, desperate to get the ball out there. Options to the short, options round the front, but England might not need the backs because they've crashed on over and scored their second. Red Roses have a try. 12-5 it reads here at the Allianz.
Well, it was inevitable, wasn't it? Back to the ways that they know. But still, that bit of innovation from that line-out was what got them into that position, with Tatiana Hurd taking that ball with immense perfection on her timing, because she has to be spot on. She goes too early, she's offside, but she was spot on. That's what gave them the initial territory, then the penalty, then the corner. It's kind of, if you're a coach, it's like, yeah, tick, tick, tick.
Yeah, absolutely, for them there, like, to deliver on something like that, and that's what we've been hoping. They've been holding back a little bit, and they've not shown us their full capability, but that line out, absolutely beautiful.
Zoe Harrison from the far touchline kicks that like a dream. 12 becomes 14, and the first quarter has gone exactly against our predictions, Kat. It is England very much in control of this one.
Yeah, England really building into this as well. I think it was a slightly nervous start for them. Canada threw everything at them, got that early score, but since then, England just doing what they do so well. Their pack is just next level.
Canada can't afford to give away any penalties, can they? They've been punished directly for both of them now, close to that red zone.
Yeah, every time, like, they just can't. They've got to be more disciplined in that, because they do have a great defence. Both teams have an excellent defence, so they need to trust that a bit more.
That's Kat Merchant. She's Philippa Tuttier. I'm Claire Thomas, and it is so good to have your company here on Sports Extra. So much across the network. We've got the 45th edition of the Ryder Cup. We've got Premier League commentaries. We've got Super League playoffs taking place tonight. But you are in the right place, because it is England in a home World Cup final, leading Canada, the world number 2s, by 14 points to 5. Canada have just stolen it back just outside England's 22, so they will look to counter. And first to have a truck is McKinley Hunt, the loose head. Here now Tessier in at first receiver onto her fly half. Olympian Taylor Perry. Canada, Olympic silver medalist, but they don't want that colour of medal today. Still with the ball, but going backwards. Men in with the carry, and now to Tosi, out from De Goody. The offload's coming thick and fast. They've got numbers out on the far touchline, but Karen Paquin wants to head infield, up to the 10-metre line. Delayed pass from Peltier. It goes for a little adventure, but Matthews slams the door on that one. Paquin in bright yellow boots and that distinctive Mr. Bump style of tape around her head. De Goody carries hard, and Canada's still not making it much past the 10-metre line. So now they go to width. Now they find Simons. Bumps off her disdainfully, but doesn't get past Jones. Tackle made. Intercept. Tatiana Hurd has it on the halfway line. Puts it onto her foot. Abby Dow in hot pursuit. It's Taylor Perry who's going to get there first. Canada's fly half has dropped it. Over the ball is Corrigan. Corrigan has the ball for Canada, 10 metres from her try line. Dow told to release. Does so in the nick of time before conceding the penalty. Hogan Rochester might just have rolled her ankle there, but she hasn't. She's back on her feet. Tessier spirals the clearance infield. Bouncing ball for Jones. Kildan is there, has Breach on her shoulder. England have numbers up towards the 22. There's the switch play. Breach to within 15 and tackled. Canada on the scramble defensively, trailing 5 points to 14 with 22 minutes on the clock. England all in white, getting into shape now. Ward with a towering carry. Hurd's clear out. Hunt swiftly onto Bottoman, and England before the sticks and 6 metres from a third score in this World Cup final. Matthews drives onward. Here comes Cocaine, already with one try. Cabello wants it. In she comes. Axing scrum half. Just marshals some of the bodies around her, but instead she picks and goes, and England are to within a metre now. 22 minutes played. Here comes Hannah Bosserman, and England have a penalty advantage to Flax. Surely now they will score. Surely they will make this count with options at their disposal and a free hit to come. Canada spoil it, but we will come back for the penalty.
Natasha Hunt's there. So my mic's the wrong way around there. so invested into England's attack. But what's worrying as well is Canada gave not one penalty advantage there, but 2. So I think they really are in trouble.
Time off. TMO check, please.
Okay, Holly.
My on-field decision was short, Leo. However, we have someone that is adamant that they have scored a try. So we just want to make sure, if not, I'm coming back for 2 offside.
Okay, Holly, stand by.
Thank you.
So that's the voice of our Irish TMO, Leo Colgan, overseeing this one. I'm just going to get some angles up and see what happens over that try line. So we're seeing Abby Ward with the ball tucked under one arm, and it might well have been Abby Ward who was adamant that she had scored. So looking at these angles, Kat, that looks short.
Yeah, that one's definitely short. So watching again from here, she doesn't reach that. I'd be amazed if that was overturned of the referee's decision of on field.
There's another angle, Holly.
Well, I think they can look at as many angles as they want, but you're right, Kat, that was a couple of inches short, and Karen Paquin combined with McKinley Hunt there to get an arm under it too.
Yeah,
It looks
I
off
don't
the
think that
ground
goes.
the whole time there.
Yeah, I'm not seeing the ground in so far.
No.
So it feels as though the score is going to
Okay, Leo,
remain
back
England 14,
I'll leave it
Canada
to you.
5.
The player was adamant that she'd scored. It is no try. It's held up. It's offside for number 2.
Agree.
Well, it's a nice try from Abby Ward.
I thought it was actually Natasha Hunt that was having a word in her ear to say, no, that was. I'm not sure it was Ward. It might have been, but yeah.
Well, here's a statement of intent. England have called for the scrum, Springbok style, off the penalty. It will be a 5-metre scrum. They've got Abby Dow on the short side here. Kildun and Harrison stacked just to the left of the set piece. And England's replacements, and we'll say plenty about their bench down the home straight, no doubt, are warming up all in pink behind the posts. 23 minutes played, England leading 14 points to 5. They've won the last 13 against Canada, but Canada have arguably been the best side at this World Cup to date. Hunt will feed. Dow just keeping those legs moving, leaning forwards like a sprinter. For now, they keep it at the base. Matthews has it at the base. England have the penalty advantage. Hunt with a stretch, being hauled back by Pacan and dumped down. England with the free hit. Dow needs to beat Hogan Rochester. Can't do so on this occasion. She's tackled. England's within a metre, still with a penalty advantage. Talling's carry. Slow, scruffy ball for Mo Hunt at the base there, so we will come back for the penalty.
These penalties, they're just giving England another go. And when you consider Canada playing against New Zealand in the last semi-final, didn't give away one penalty in the entire first half, that just goes to show the pressure that they're under in this game.
60 minutes until they conceded one, so 3 quarters, blemish-free, teacher's pats, and then 6 in the final 20 minutes.
Yeah, and I think what's worrying for them here is that pressure in the scrum. That scrum was really going far back at a rate of knots.
So England will feed again, and there is a real menace to this confidence in their forwards pack, and we know that England will unleash the likes of Sarah Bernal, Catkin Davies and Kelsey Clifford on around the 50-minute mark, whereas Canada like to keep their props on for longer. They need to keep their props on for longer.
Keep the space, both packs. There we go. No, both. Quick reset, please.
It was a blistering start to proceedings, but we've slowed down a little bit tempo-wise. 25 minutes gone. Tries for Kildun and Cockayne. Hogan Rochester's score for Canada feels a long time ago now. The pendulum of momentum has swung in one direction, and it hasn't bunched an inch. So Hunt will put this in. White packing down against red, and still it is Dow alone on this short side. You suspect they're going to leave it in. That is exactly what they do, and Canada start to splinter. There's the free hit again for England. Hunt with the snipe, gets the offload onto Matthews, who strikes. With glory on the line and history to be written, it's Alex Matthews in her 4th straight World Cup final, sticking another 5 on England's mounting tally.
And I couldn't think of a better woman to score it in her 4th World Cup final for her starting. And you've got to just talk about the scrum for England is just tearing Canada apart, and Canada are decent. They've got a great set piece. That's how good this England pack are.
I think that was a pre-planned move as well, the way that Mo moved. I've seen her try and snipe before for the try line. She did that purely to pull away the defensive players and release Alex Matthews. It was great to see them using that scrum, but mixing things up, showing that innovation that we wanted to see from this England team.
Well, that cheer you can hear as the flag's going up, because Zoe Harrison has made it 3 from 3, so 21 plays 5.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough ask for Canada now, but it's really nice to see England click in and play into their potential, because this is the side that we've known can be. I think Canada, however, have looked a little bit rattled. They've made mistakes they don't normally make. They kicked it straight out. They've been putting themselves under pressure, but they need to do something here and need to do it quick.
Well, they switched things up because Hogan Rochester has kicked off for the Canadians. The winger is gathered by Jones. England with the ball just beyond the 10-metre line in their own half. Canada have it now through Pacan, the 38-year-old, still pulling up trees. Brilliant line in the week saying that she runs like she's angry with the ground, coming from one of her teammates. Corrigan arrives on an inside incisive line and is slammed by an England tackler. Peltier gets the offload onto De Goody, and Canada have the ball now just outside England's 22. They trail 5 points to 21. Paquin out on the far touchline. Matthews combines with Breach to make the tackle. The ruck speed from Canada has just cranked up a notch. This has been a brighter passage of play off the restart. De Goody with the pick and the go. Now this is O'Donnell being sized up by Cocaine and driving her backwards. Canada to within 10. They're still scrapping here, Canada. Heads have stayed well and truly up. To Tosi, tackled, and Canada have the advantage here. Here goes a carry from Crossley, Olympic silver medalist. So many of this Canadian outfit are. Was that a tackle off the ball from Zoe Aldcroft? Referee says no. Canada still have the ball, but they've gone backwards now, right before the sticks, 15 metres out from the try line. 5:21, the scoreline at a sold-out Allianz Stadium in Twickenham. Ball stays with the women in red. Peltier off her knees, ships that back and onto Perry. Little dink up over the top. Kildun will gather, calls the mark. Cute play from the World Player of the Year.
Yeah, really smart. She was under a lot of pressure there as well, and I think Tessier here thought it was a penalty advantage where it was only a scrum advantage, and that's why she kicks it away.
Just seeking clarity there. The Canadian captain with 12 on her back was nominated for Player of the Year last year. Kildun scoops the accolade, and it's Kildun with the clearing kick that.
Yeah, that is a real error there though, but I mean, you've got to listen in to the referee, and also I'm not too big of a fan of just because you have, even if it was a penalty advantage, just kicking it away anyway. Just they've done when Canada have played well, it's because they've utilised their wings, they get it wide. Just do that. No matter if you've got advantage, doesn't matter, just stick to that.
Palace Liverpool on 5 Live. Chelsea Brighton on Sports Extra 2. Ryder Cup is on Sports Extra 3, but stick with us here on Sports Extra. Canada with a penalty advantage off the back of that line out, trailing 5 points to 21. It's been 25 minutes since Hogan Rochester struck early on in this World Cup final. Canada's first in over a decade. Back for the penalty, just outside England's 22. It'll be interesting to see what they do here.
Yeah, because it's within kicking range for post, but I think they're too far behind to go for that. And yeah, you can see now Tessier's lined up for the kick to touch, and she's done a good one just outside of so about 10 metres out, 8-10 metres out for the line out here.
Because we talk about how England go back to Route 101 when they need to. Canada did the same against Scotland in their third and final group stage match. They are very accurate at this set piece. They will back Emily Totosi to throw this, and they're packed to get to within striking distance. 30 minutes gone. It's the hooker who has it now. 7 metres to make up to keep themselves within touching distance of the world number ones. That is a promising looking maul, but now it starts to go sideways. For now, Peltier, the number 9, just waits behind this pack, this mobile and ferocious pack of Canadians. Still going Canada. Second shove coming on here. De Goody has it at the back. They're within 3 metres. This so much better from Canada, and England fighting with everything they have. It's gone sideways. Canada need to use it. Peltier's got to unearth the ball here or they're going to lose it. Peltier, the little scrum half, 5'2". There's a foot mismatch between her and Moena Tarling, who's just made the tackle. Canada driving on. Hunt told that she is short. Canada need to get it out. Hogan Rochester is unmarked on this near touchline. Blades of London grass the difference with a pick and a go is one of the forwards. Can't even see, they're jammed in so tight. Now the ball, placed backwards. Aldcroft holds. She was allowed to pinch the pocket there. Zoe Aldcroft with an opportunistic little snipe. She's just gone and burgled the ball back from Canada with the try line at their mercy. England's captain with a captain's involvement there. 32 minutes played, Canada 5, England 21 before 80,000 here at the Allianz. Hunt with the clearing box kick makes 10 or 15 metres or so, but Canada will be asking themselves what on earth went wrong there.
Well, Philippa was shaking her head, so I'm wondering if you were thinking that the ball wasn't out there.
Well, you know what, we've just got to see it on the replay now because it just looked too easy, and quite often when these look easy it's because it's illegal. But actually, no, go gadget arms from Aldcroft. She leant over, the ball was out, which means it's beyond the hindmost foot of the attacking team. So yeah, great spot from her.
That's a smart play as well to do it there and to be brave enough to spot it and go for it.
Oh, and it's all coming unstuck now for Canada. They will really wish they could have another go at this first half because they've just spilt the line out. They've managed to reclaim it somehow, but Aldcroft was right up there, making a mess of things, drawing the overthrow, just confusing the picture for Tutosi. Short tip on pass from Zagoody onto Crossley there, right before the sticks, on the cusp of England's 22 here. Peltier flat and onto Perry. And it would be Oldcroft having the big involvements. This is why she was named captain in this most important of years for the Red Roses. Scored the winner, scooped the player of the match accolade the last time these two sides met in WXV last October. Here comes Hunt. Canada, ball in hand, trailing by 16 points and into England's 22. O'Donnell with a little shimmy, but it's well read and will come back for the penalty right before the posts.
Yeah, in front of the post, but again, it's 21-5, so getting 3 doesn't do enough, I don't think, but they can't really opt for scrum because England have been annihilating the scrum. But they've gone for post. Interesting for me, maybe because they feel they're running out of options. The line out was messed up, the scrum's under pressure, so actually just get some points on the board.
Yeah, just getting that momentum, isn't it? Seeing your scoreboard ticking over. It's been a long time since they've heard the Canadian fans cheering them for scoring some points, so just something as subtle like that. Well, that penalty was for tackler not releasing, and I'm seeing that quite a bit. I think England are right on the edge of that. They are so aware of the speed of play that Canada have got, so they're just holding on for that split second to try and slow them down from recycling the ball.
Nicely done by Zagoody. She is an outstanding place kicker to go with everything else that she brings to that Canadian jersey. So it's Canada 8, England 21 with 6 minutes remaining on the first half. Got to go all the way back to 2016 for the last time that Canada tasted defeat against the Red Rose. Salt Lake City, July, in that summer series. England will be absolutely ecstatic with this because the script writers had predicted a relentless Canadian start. A finish with a flourish from England and hardly a point in it. And yet, here we find ourselves with a gap of 13. Hogan Rochester carrying out of Canada's 22 from the restart. Peltier finds Zagoody, who gets an outrageous dummy out the bag, but it's very well read by Talling, who has tackled and tackled and tackled this World Cup. She was 12 years old, Morwenna Talling, when England last lifted that trophy. England wrestle the ball back on the deck, and it's Hannah Bottoman with one of those trademark strips and wins the penalty too. This very kickable, this for England to just eradicate the 3 points off Sophie Zagoody's boots.
They might, but they also might kick for the corner because they're just so confident. And in fact, yeah, Zoe Harrison looks like she is lining up for the corner with just under 5 minutes to go with this half. They're confident, they want more, and you know, so far in this game, lineouts have been working so well for them, so why not? So Bottoman doing really well there to get over the ball and steal it.
Is this England's best performance of the campaign so far, Philippa?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it really is. We've seen innovation, we've seen creativity, we've seen awesome defence, scoring early.
Again, from 7 metres out, picks out Aldcroft. Cabea is so swiftly to the back of that. England just slowed a little in their advances, and Canada are frantically bailing, but it's really coming on stop for them now because England are over the line, they're over the whitewash, they're crashing down. Cockayne has 2. A hat-trick in the last World Cup final, on a hat-trick in this one in 2025, and the gap swells once again. 26-8, kick still to come. England mauling the Canadians.
They're just being smart. Like, their pack is incredible. Like, just rely on them because they deliver time and time again.
But also, how about that turnover from Hannah Bottoman? Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, it really was, but they're just doing a TMO check here.
By the England player.
Okay, Holly, stand by.
Thank you.
So obstruction potentially at this maul. It was Cockayne who threw it, Cockayne who scored it.
Here you go, Holly.
For some angles to see what happened in the interim.
Yeah, so just looking, they need to make sure that the player isn't beyond the player who receives it, which might have been through there at the angle.
Is that the red?
That's your better angle, Holly.
No, can we get the...
I think it might be more
the wide side, please.
Where she slides around the back, and you cannot do that.
Yeah, this one.
Here you go.
Thank you.
So Cockayne hoists it high. It's the two-handed gather from Aldcroft, but as she lands, is Maud Muir before the captain?
I think she is.
Yeah, so 7.
One more angle coming up here.
And Canada need this, Cat, if they're to stay alive and kicking in this final.
They do need it, but just as she lands, Maud is then stopping.
That's your best angle,
So I think
number 3 swings behind the jumper, which means Canada have no access to make a tackle on that ball carrier. Do you agree? You agree? Leo, are you seeing the same picture?
I'm seeing the same picture, agree.
Okay, I have a decision. Okay, it's going to be no try. Number 3 goes behind the jumper and obstructs the Canadian player to be able to tackle.
Maud just puts her hand up as well. She accepts it. With that, so disappointed from England. It looked like it was going so easy for them, but great call in there from TMO to check that.
So the score remains England 21, Canada 8. Tries for the Red Roses from Kildun, Cockayne and Matthews, and audible sighs of relief from every Canadian here at the Allianz Stadium, and from all the way across the ocean, from Shania Twain, who we know is watching on and is a big fan of these Canadian women, and from Russell Crowe, who's also spoken up in the week as a big supporter of them.
Well, you have to say, if that was a score, that then becomes a pretty tough ask for Canada to come back from, so they'll be happy that they're still in this going into the first half.
Well, England have referred to this World Cup throughout this cycle as their Everest. They've called today finding themselves at base camp, and it's safe to say they are climbing the mountain all right. Overthrown line out from Totosi, usually notes perfect, but it's gathered by Cockayne, who is having one of those days. England with so many numbers, if they can just get it to win. Oh, Meg Jones drops it. Knock-on advantage for Canada, who don't need asking twice. Corrigan pounces upon the loose ball. Canada now on the counter, up to halfway, trailing 8 points to 21. 2.5 minutes left on this first half, and you sense they need to achieve something in these dying moments. Brilliant take from Hogan Rochester, scoops that off her bootlaces, kicks it long. Gathered by Dow, who will send it into touch just shy of halfway. No, she's not made touch, so Perry with a little stab, a spiralling stab over the top. Hunt has it in broken field, kicks it and will pick out Shell in the backfield for Canada. It's an awkward bouncing ball for the Canadian fullback. She sizes up her options, so many kicks, splitting the field, leaving some knackered looking forwards in the middle. Kildun now with a run up, beating Shell, beating another, knocking it on through contact right on the 10-metre line inside Canada's half. Canada will have the scrum, 90 seconds with which to claw something back.
And England trying to get it wide there, and then they end up with that error. You have to say, just almost I'll be tempted to go, let's hit our forwards up, make them do some, it's asking a lot of work from the forwards for sure, but they're just so successful with their carries and they make it so safe. But Canada now have the put in from that knock on in the contact from Kildun's run, but the scrum is under so much pressure. I'm not sure it's a positive thing for them.
Head coach Kevin Ruhe has been so confident in the week, speaking about how he has the most athletic and the fittest group in this World Cup. But I do wonder, Philippa Tuttiett, if they look a little bit leggy out there, the Canadians.
I think they're being made to work, which I think is very clever from England. I think that's why we're seeing more of a kicking battle to move the players around the field. And there's one great thing about Canada is their intent to play. They are going to try and run it from anywhere, but could that be their Achilles heel in that they overplay?
Thank you. When the scrum is stable, you must put the ball in. It didn't seem stable to me. Okay, thank you. It seemed very stable to me.
Well, Justine Peltier speaking to Holly Davidson there, the number 9 for Canada. She's played 33 of Canada's last 34 tests. She is a fulcrum of this side, and decorated in club colours too. Plays her club rugby in France in Elite 1 for Stade Bordelais, who have gone back to back, just as Gloucester Hartpury have done in the Premiership. And speaking of Elite 1, speaking of the Premiership, that is where these Canadian nomads ply their trade, seeking elite level competition, sharpening the tools and the fangs and the claws. And that's how they find themselves here in a World Cup final, but facing an uphill battle because there's 10 seconds left of the half. They were trailing by 13 points to the dominant force in the women's game. Spun out to the short by Peltier. No look from Shell. On to Corrigan. The Saracen, who carries up to the 10 metre. Quick reloads, and on they go through Crossley. Clatters into Alex Matthews. That was a real shot in the midfield there. Bouncing ball for Paquin. Up and over 10 metres. Canada getting a bit of a rumble on now, and through the middle is Hunt. Offloads off the deck onto Tutosi. Has Hannah Bosselman stolen that? No. Again they come up past the 10 metres, just about gathered by Tessier. Simons has it now, and she's railing against Dow and against Hurd. Told to release. Peltier goes back the way she came, against the grain, scythed down low by Aldcroft. There was Forteza, and it's slow ball for the Canadians right before the sticks, and looking to earn the right to enter England's 22, which they will be denied because Hannah Bosselman has ripped it back with the clock in the red, and that, you suspect, will be that for the half.
Oh, absolutely incredible work rate from Bottoman. She went for the one before that. Referee denied her of it, said it was only one hand, so she paused, went for that second one in a row and managed to get the holding on penalty. The work rate that she puts in is just next level.
Well, Hannah Bosselman, who was denied a spot in the final for the last World Cup due to a freak training injury, is making her World Cup final debut, and she looks right at home in it. The whole Red Roses group do, as they head to the sheds for some quiet contemplation, leading the Canadians by 21 points. I beg your pardon, 21 points. Let's give them all of their flowers to 8. It was Canada who struck first through Hogan Rochester, but Kildun, Kikane and Matthews in an immaculate afternoon off the tee by Harrison. Speaking of tees, there is golf over on Sports Extra 3 if you want your fill of Ryder Cup. It's Chelsea Brighton on Sports Extra 2 in the Premier League. The Londoners looking to remain undefeated at Stamford Bridge for the season. And Palace against Liverpool, the two remaining undefeated sides in the competition. They're going hammer and tongs at one another over on 5 Live. But I'm Claire Thomas here on Sports Extra with Kat Merchant and Philippa Tassiet for company. Just before we take a break, I'd love a little line from each of you, your summation of that opening 40.
England pack, absolutely incredible, just showing exactly how dominant they are. Canada, when they're looking fast, it's looking good, but they are also forcing errors because the tempo is almost getting away from them. They're overplaying.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. When they keep the ball in hand, that's when they look the most threatening, don't they? And for some reason, maybe the pressure has told that they're thinking they should play sensible. But that's the one thing we've loved about Canada, is that they've not been sensible throughout this tournament. So, you know, I really hope that Kevin Rouet has the words of, remember what you did last week, remember what you did the week before. It doesn't need to be any different.
One of his mantras over the last few weeks to his girls has been, be brave, but don't be silly. Are they being silly?
No, I don't think they're being silly. I think they're slightly rattled because they've not come up against a side that can defend them as well as England have. New Zealand left gaps. Peltier was able to carve through them a few times. She's not been able to do that today. Every time she's thought of having a snipe, she's been hit. So I don't think it's silly. I just don't think it's being effective.
And then one last one for you, Philippa. Canada do have, and this is one of the reasons we love them, a plan A, B and C at all times. They are a Swiss Army knife, as they've described themselves. So will they come out and try something different?
I don't think we'll see different, but I just think technical execution, like their carries, they're more than confident to carry it one up, but that second and third person has got to be there quicker, otherwise Hannah Bottom's going to have a field day stealing the ball.
Which is having a field day already. And you know what? She's had an absolute field day recording one of our podcasts recently, a special bespoke production boasting her and Meg Jones and comedian Harriet Kemsley, and somehow we got access to the lot of them inside the England camp in World Cup final week. The podcast is called Barely Rugby, and with that in mind, forgive us, we're going to give you a little clip of them discussing their underwear of choice.
Welcome to a special episode of Barely Rugby with me, comedian Harriet Kemsley, and rugby players Hannah Bottoman and Meg Jones. However, the role formerly played by Meg Jones will be played today by Amy Cockayne. Hello, Amy. Thank you for coming.
No worries.
It's so exciting to see you both.
I nearly just interrupted you then. I was like, you're wrong. It's not Meg. Meg isn't
you made
here.
like a bit of a smile. Like, what do you think you're doing?
Sorry.
Sorry. I'm a professional. I know what I'm doing.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Sorry.
I don't come on the rugby pitch and try and
tell me what to
your
do.
balls.
Right. You don't kick my balls.
Yeah.
Good.
Nice.
Good.
I actually loved watching you on Last One Laughing or whatever it was called, so you better be real funny today.
Wow, that started so nice, and then that really the pressure.
She's quite aggressive this one.
I am quite aggressive. Sorry,
I was like,
tone
oh,
it
that
down.
was so sweet, and then I'm scared.
No pressure, but be funny.
Yeah. What a roller coaster for me. Wow. I really liked it, but you better keep it up.
I'm really pleased that you dressed up for us.
Wait, what? This is what I wear every day.
No, I know, but
Borrow Hannah's t-shirt.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
what?
that is about 12 sizes too big for you, but that's nice, that.
It's pretty nice.
What do you reckon for the girls means?
Yeah.
For the girls?
Yeah.
Well,
What do you
I'm not
reckon it
against
means?
them, am I?
Well,
for them.
Some people are.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, not me.
Not you.
As you can see,
You are all
the
the
big
girls.
writing.
I
Yes,
actually
quite.
just recently cropped one,
Yeah.
but I cropped
Ooh.
it too short.
Oh.
So it's
like under
I can't
boobs.
wear it anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
The belly is out and about.
unwearable
Oh, dear.
now, which is a shame.
She went like this and
Yeah.
it literally
Yeah,
only just come below the tits.
Not good. Not good.
Okay. And what do you think of the hat?
The hat's nice.
Classy.
I like the hat.
Yes.
Classy hat. Yeah.
Classy.
A feather trim.
Feather trim.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really adds to the
Yes.
whole.
What bird do you think they took this off?
Hopefully not a living one.
Yeah.
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 Something plastic, maybe.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
What has happened to Meg? She okay?
She's too expensive.
Right,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
of the award.
The award,
nom.
yes, big award actually.
What does that all mean? It's really
It just means like
exciting.
that she's like one of the best rugby players in the world, really.
Oh my god!
I know.
I saw the video and it was like very cute and
Yeah,
exciting.
no, bless her. Deserved,
It's
I
fair,
think.
yeah.
She should win it as well,
Yeah, she should
realistically.
win it.
If she
So
doesn't, it's a
it's
farce.
the award for best rugby player.
The best rugby
ever.
player in the whole
This
entire
year,
world.
yeah.
This year. Just this year.
Really
But
Yeah.
cool.
me and Amy just missed
Yeah.
out.
We must be on the list somewhere.
We've
but-
probably just like
They probably
like
talked about us.
fourth and fifth.
Yeah.
They probably
Yeah.
talked about us and said definitely not them.
Yeah, you
but-
are eligible, but you're not.
Yeah, no, we were
up
eligible.
for it.
We were-
you could have been.
We
but
were
you
definitely
weren't.
eligible.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, we were
Okay.
definitely eligible.
Well, it means you can be here.
It
So
does.
that's nice. It means
It
that
does,
Amy
exactly.
can be here. That's exciting. So we've talked a lot about dating and changing partners. That seems to be the thing we've talked about a
Right,
lot.
we go in,
And-
back to that, are we?
Yeah, now
Yeah.
you've brought someone new to the public. How would you
Now you've changed partners again.
Yeah, it seems to be a pattern that you have. I don't know, I don't want to judge anybody.
no.
But we want to get to know Amy. Like, how would you describe her?
How would I describe Amy? Amy Cocaine is my fellow front rower. She is the enforcer of this team, and
The enforcer.
yeah,
You know how I just threatened you just before?
Yeah.
yeah, she does that
seems
more
like a good-
aggressively.
Yeah.
We're like
Physically
the
more.
bouncers of the team.
Yeah.
I'm getting that vibe.
Yeah.
I'm feeling like I'm like 15 trying to get into the club again.
Yeah, you're not
That's
allowed
the
in.
You're not in,
vibe.
sorry.
You're not in. Sorry. Funny, and carefree,
Yeah.
which I really
Oh,
enjoy.
that's nice. That's a
Really
nice
enjoy
word
it.
Carefree,
to use
yeah.
for somebody.
Yeah,
I'll
So
take that.
we've got a very low maintenance friendship, which I really enjoy.
We do.
I like that.
Yeah.
What do you mean by carefree? That's such a lovely
We just
word to
don't.
describe someone
We
with.
just don't care. She doesn't care. Do you know what I mean? As in, like, we obviously
She
care
doesn't
about. We
give-
care about things.
About-
but we also don't take life too seriously,
Yeah.
which
That's-
is important.
That's more the vibe.
That's
You're
more the
having
vibe.
fun.
Not
Yeah,
that
it's
we
not
don't
that you
care.
don't
We
We
do
do.
care. We care when we need to care, and when we don't need to care, we really don't care.
We really don't care. Yeah.
You're not letting the little things get you
Exactly.
down.
Absolutely
Yeah.
not.
Although we do like to have a little complain, don't we?
We complain.
We love a little moan.
What you
Yeah,
complaining
who
about? at the
Just
moment?
everything and anything.
Oh.
But what I really enjoy, again, about Amy is she doesn't sit there and say, try and make it better for me. Do you know what I mean? You know those
She makes
people
it
that are like,
worse.
oh,
I don't
she's not
rationalise
trying to
her.
no, I
fix
don't want to
you.
be
Yeah.
rationalised. I want
Yeah.
someone else to be angry about it with me.
She'll join in your
And she'll do
fights.
that, and I'll do that for her, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
It
Which
can be
is nice.
quite.
It can be
We
quite
do get to the point where, like,
detrimental.
right, we need to stop now.
Yeah, but
We've gone too far.
we're good at recognising that.
What are the things that you're complaining about?
What's been the reason?
Normally something about the backs. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, God.
The backs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where Meg plays.
It's
She's the
funny
back.
because it's a bit like a pantomime horse or something. Do you know what I mean? Like you have like the front and you have the backs, and
Yeah.
then you have the like.
Yeah.
You know, like it's
And
a bit like
everyone
you're
would
all
rather
in.
be in the front of the horse, right? No
Yeah.
one wants to be in the
So
back
you're
of the
you're
horse.
the front.
We're the front.
You're the
Yeah,
great.
we're the front.
Yeah. But your back sometimes it's going the wrong way. It's,
Yeah, or just like dropping
Dropping the ball
Okay.
or like
Ball.
passing the ball forward.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah. Okay.
Have you been to any of the games? You watched any of them?
Look, it's
Oh,
difficult.
she's not even watched
I
any.
love. I've been watching so many clips, but you play when I have to travel to gigs. So I was on a train to Darlington on Saturday
Perfect time
afternoon.
to watch a game.
How can you watch a
There's
game on a
internet
train?
on trains these days.
That is not internet on trains.
I bet
There is.
I bet
That
you were in
is
first
not-
class as well.
There
wouldn't you?
is.
I was
There
not.
is internet.
There's definitely internet on
There's
first class.
to
definitely internet.
Darlington. First class to Darlington, please.
It's a long
Thank
train
you.
journey, that.
No, I wasn't in first class. I was
Oh.
in regular class, and I downloaded some stuff. But you can't download something that's happening at that moment.
No, but
this was
surely
my
you've got, like, 5G
conundrum.
or something. Yeah.
I've never got it to work on a train before, but I want to come on Saturday. But there's no tickets left. You're big
Genuine.
sellouts. Yeah,
Genuine.
you've all sold out.
Oh,
it's
right.
amazing. You've broken a record for like the most ever people that are going to go watch.
Yeah, that's pretty
A
cool.
women's rugby. It's really cool.
That is pretty cool.
But it's a bit annoying that I can't get a ticket.
So you've
That's it. You've given up. Then.
yeah.
You've not even tried
You've
to buy
just
one.
not tried, or what?
Well, how do you buy one if they're sold out?
I think you just that people resell.
Put something
them.
like on your Instagram, like, "Hey, you really want a ticket?"
Well,
Ask World Rugby. World Rugby might bring
it feels
them
like you guys might have a connection.
along.
Not personally, me.
Okay.
Not personally.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah, I think we might have
Okay.
used all of ours actually.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
So that's sorry about that.
Yeah. I'll
We'll
just go
actually
queue or
try. If
something.
you actually
I'm
do
gonna
want to
queue.
come, we will actually try and find you one.
I want to come.
You need like +1 though.
Yeah. Well,
Probably.
otherwise I'll be so lonely.
Sat there with your little hat on. Just they're like, "Yay!
Come on, girl.
Go with the forwards."
Oh, bless you.
What did you make of Barely Rugby? Did you listen to the series?
Is this what this is?
Yeah, this is what this is.
This is what this is.
Women supporting women.
Sorry,
That's what
I've
it's all
watched
about,
as much of this as you've watched of our rugby games.
There you go.
I've seen a few clips.
You've seen the clips.
I've seen a few clips.
I've seen the
she wasn't
clips.
able to.
Yeah.
She's been really busy, so she's
Busy.
just not been.
Oh, I was on a
you've
train,
been
there was no
busy.
signal
Yeah,
and
like when
stuff.
you're running or something, it is a podcast. I guess you could
Oh,
listen.
right.
Yeah.
Not much for a podcaster, but yeah.
Okay.
Maybe I'll
You
get
could,
to that
yeah,
later.
we don't need to listen to this one because you're
No.
in it, I guess.
Yeah.
So we have a big question for you, which involves your underwear.
Right, yeah. Yeah. I have been sent this clip quite a few times. Yeah.
So funny. I remember seeing it live and thinking, should I go and pull them up for her? And I just thought, no.
I celebrated
You
before I pulled my
celebrated
pants
with
out.
your arse out.
Yeah.
So you knew your
I
ass
could
was
feel
out.
it was
You're like,
out,
I've got to
and I thought,
There
I'm
was a
just going to
breeze
little
in there.
celebrate
There was a breeze
first.
in there.
And then I thought, best put it away now.
Well, if you were wondering what Barely Rugby was about, what the vibe was, I think we've given you the perfect soups on that. It is irreverent, it is ridiculous, but it is a fantastic listen. And so hopefully will be our On the Whistle podcast, which we'll be recording with the rest of the Five Live team at the full-time whistle here at the Allianz Stadium. If you're looking for football, Palace Liverpool is still going on 5 Live. There's Chelsea Brighton on Sports Extra 2, and Sports Extra 3 is your home of the Ryder Cup. All things Bethpage Black. We've got full commentary and coverage. Just honestly, fill your boots or your golfing shoes. Right, back to events here at HQ in West London, because it's England leading this 10th Rugby World Cup final by 21 points to 8. And the real statistical headline from that, Kat Merchant, World Cup winner alongside me, is that Canada haven't been behind at the break in 2025. They are undefeated in this calendar year and they haven't trailed. So how difficult is it muscle memory-wise, psychologically, to climb a mountain when you haven't needed to do so for a while?
I think they almost have to start this second half just as if it's the first half and just be like, right, this is what we're doing. We're bringing this intensity. They've got big players to bring on as well. I think Liv Apps, the replacement 9, I think she's incredible. She brings an extra tempo to the game, so she could make a difference. Maybe they'll roll the dice, bring subs on earlier. But yeah, I don't think they can think about the fact of the deficit they're behind England, because then they're going to overplay even more. They just have to do what they're good at and play quickly and just support each other.
Philippi, the Sevens circuit was your playground for years, and now you commentate on it, so you've seen Liv Apps up close and personal, and she really is the name that comes up over and over again when you look at those Canadian replacements. Could she be the key to this?
Yeah, absolutely. She brings an energy and intensity, but with an incredibly mature head as well. She doesn't have a sort of calm play, but she just kind of gets a grip on it and dictates. You know, Peltier is brilliant, but you will see Olivia Apps talking, shouting, commanding. You know, she just is that glue, and normally we see it towards the last 20. I just wonder if maybe we might see her a little bit earlier this time.
as Who Run the World Girls blares out before 80,000 here at Twickenham. Let's look at England's replacements then, because so much has been made of their bench, and John Mitchell, perhaps more than any other coach on the global stage, believes in having a 23 cat. It's so important to him, and he plays his combinations as units. He has honed them as trios. For example, Clifford Atkin-Davies and Byrne as the replacement front rowers. They come as a set. Similarly, Helena Rowland has been moulded into the ultimate utility back. Talk to us about the options available to England here and what impact you think they might have.
Yeah, I think, as you said, that front row is insane. That would start in any other, lineup. They're incredible. But then you've got the engine room as well. You've got Gallagher, who's had a fantastic tournament. We already spoke about Lucy Packer, the 9. She comes on. She really starts to speed things up. And then, Holly Aitchison and Helena Rowland, they are both game changers because they like to get the ball wide. They're not scared to have a run themselves. They'll be confident coming into this. So that, I don't think England need to make a difference. I think they're doing very well. They need to just rely on their pack because their pack are constantly delivering. But those players will come on and add value as well.
Well, for now, they are trusting their run-out 15s. No changes made by either side as the athletes return to the pitch before us. It's a dappled sky, clouds passing overhead here in Twickenham. A light breeze, the flags fluttering on the roof of this stadium, but the floodlights are now on, and helping just to add to the disco feel to the whole thing is the fact that the goalposts, it's like being in a club in Ibiza, honestly. They are flickering in pink and in gold and in green, and this entire thing, Philippa, has felt like a party. This World Cup, ever since they lit the touch paper in Sunderland, it's just been so feel good.
Oh, it's been absolutely brilliant on and off the field. I think the hosts, the organisers have got it spot on.
England 21, Canada 8, and the Canadians in red playing from left to right, opting to pick out Matthews with the restart. Tarling has it now, just outside England's 22, swiftly to it is Hunt, back into the pocket for Harrison, who lashes a grey booty through it, and that will land in the arms of Shell, just on the halfway line. Canada want a strong start to this second half. They don't just want one, they need one, because England have 3 converted tries, Canada with just a score and a penalty in response. The gap is 60. Tessier with it on the 10-metre line inside Canada's half, and now Corteza picking out Hogan Rochester, who is strong through contact and somehow remains in field despite the approaches of Kildun. Castle is on, the loose head replacement for the Canadians. Britt Castle, so replacing McKinley Hunt, perhaps in an attempt to stabilise that scrum, which was creaking wickedly in the first half. Hunt, overly casual, looking to put a boot on a bouncing ball in the backfield, but just about gets it away to Harrison, who picks out Tessier on halfway. She stabs through a low effort, looking for the 50-22, and she's gone and got it. Brilliant start, a hiss and a roar from Alex Tessier.
Absolutely, really smart play as well. She could see that backfield from England was struggling, were working really hard to get around. It's a cruel bounce away from Natasha Hunt as she desperately scrabbles to get there, but Tessier, I turned to Philippa at half-time and wondered about Tessier's performance, not sure her head was in it, but she's come out and absolutely proved me wrong there with that worldie of a 50-22.
Stay 2.
That's why we're not coaches. We'd have had her off.
Get her off.
Emily Tutosi's line-out throwing has been immaculate all championship long, but she's gifted that right to Abby Ward. So 2 minutes gone of this second half, and England with a maul inside their 22. Harrison will exit, sends it up and safely into touch just past halfway. That was some shots.
Yeah, that's really disappointing for Canada, because that's 2 line-outs now they've given away to England in really key moments, and you just can't afford to do that. England are too good, and they will punish Canada for that.
And as a player, that is the worst feeling in the world, when you feel like, right, this is our in now, we started well, and all of a sudden you've got to turn and you've got to walk 50 metres back up the field.
And give another line out, which you've just messed up. So difficult, that's great work and defence in the line out from England, though. They are excellent at getting up. Abby Ward in particular just gets up, disturbs ball.
Well, they've been practicing with headphones on, the Canadians, but you do wonder if Tutosi stood before those baying stands has allowed the crowd to get to her a little bit, because she's given that one to England too, and Breach has it over halfway. Kildun racing along the touchline, chips it, chases her own. Hogan Rochester has to gather on the second attempt and is brought crashing down to turf. 10 metres from the try line. Canada looking to build themselves an exit platform through Paquin. The open side, Tessier manages to clear under real duress, but individually, Canada are not performing as they would have hoped today.
No, well, you've got to look at that. So they have a penalty, they kick for touch, they're on really, their set piece is great, and now they mess up one line out, England punish them, they're on the halfway line, they then mess up that line out, and now England are the ones in the 22 having a line out.
Rugby is all about stringing together good instances, not bad one, and England are building friendship bracelets out of Canadian errors here. Inside the 22, lofty from Cocaine, that was a confident throw. The difference in these two sides' confidence levels right now is remarkable. Canada win the penalty though, right before the sticks. A huge involvement, brilliantly done from Dalika Menon.
Yeah, Menon doing really, really well there. We talk about Bottoman getting those important turnovers. That one's just as important because England there, yeah, they took something from nothing and they built their way all the way up to be in striking position.
Canada need to score next. 44 minutes played of this final, and it's been 21 unanswered points from the world number ones, who have a stranglehold over both this fixture and the global game.
Yeah, well, they need to win a line out first to be able to do that. So they're just on the 10-metre line, the defensive 10-metre line, but third line out of this just in this 4 minutes. So hopefully for them, a successful one.
Totosi, the Exeter chief, player of the match against Scotland earlier on in this tournament, and just about picks out De Goody, Canada's lock forward, former captain, World Player of the Year nominee, and they've made their way up to the halfway line. Looking to spoil is Abby Ward, who's got octopus limbs over the top of those crimson jerseys. Perry onto Tessier, bit of cross communication in the backfield there for Canada, because Simons and Tessier thought that they were meant to be gathering that one. Mo Hunt needs to stop trying to control the ball with her foot. She's done that twice now and has got away with murder on both occasions. But Kildunn scampers up to just shy of halfway, who scored England's first try. Canada entering from the side, so England have the handbrake off here in attack. They'll come back for the penalty, and that's what they will do.
Entry, number 9.
Yeah, just giving penalties away. Their discipline they gave away 2 more penalties in the first half than England did, and they're just starting off the second half in the same way.
Tessier at the moment, when she's feeling panicked and stressed, she's just kicking it through, and I really don't think that's the best option. I think she should just put her head down and carry and just keep hold of possession.
Yeah, it's a kick and hope though as well.
It really is.
That 50-22 she did was incredible because she had time, she'd assessed and she delivered. She is a great kicker, but when you just put boot to ball without even looking up at where the England backfield are, you're gonna come unstuck.
Amy Cocaine with a try already in this match to go. The hat-trick she scored at Eden Park in the last iteration of this fixture. Picks out Abby Ward, playing the best rugby of her life right about now, the England forward. And here is Cabea in that black satin-lined scrum cap of her own design to protect her afro hair, one of the many trailblazers in this England outfit. Muir with the carry, and England are into the 22 right before the sticks. A big run from Aldcroft. 15 metres the difference. Straightening and swerving is Cocaine, and England are really bringing the crowd into it now. Listen to the songs. 6 phases, Canada have it back. Sensational work at the breakdown from Corrigan, who's come up with a couple of those now, the winger. Canada though, 15 metres from their try line. England have it back. It's Matthews with it in her 4th World Cup final. 47 minutes played, England 21, Canada 8. Canada haven't scored in over 40 minutes. Inside out line from Bottoman. Hunt almost spoiling things there now. This is Muir skipping over the tackles. 5 metres the difference. England hunting for a 4th. Here they come. Hunt shipping it on to Bottoman. Bottoman bumping one off. Bottoman almost over the line. Bottoman just about held England to within inches now. Matthews wants it, but they go across the face. Awkward bouncing ball. Harrison can't gather. Canada have it back. And they will have the put in.
Tackle off the ball by number 7. Yeah. Tackle off the ball by number 7. It's short, so you have to roll and release. It's not against you, it's 7. Sorry?
Very good coach there, huh?
Sorry?
Very good coach there.
No, because your tackler needs to roll test. Okay, 9.
So England have the penalty under her arm. The ball is Mo Hunt, who's consulting with Zoe Aldcroft about how they're going to play this one.
Scrum. Scrum call, girls.
And just watching our Lisa get hit in the face.
Thank you, chappers, and good afternoon to those of you listening on 5 Live. It is so good to have your company, and if you are Red Roses inclined, you're going to like the sound of this, because it is England 21, Canada 8. 30 minutes remaining in this one, a rematch of the 2014 World Cup final when it was England who were victorious on Parisian soil. They've got the scrum here right before the Canadian posts, and they have had this particular set piece on toast all afternoon. Mo Hunt will feed. Welcome along. This is the other big transatlantic tussle in the world of sport. One European team looking to recreate a miraculous 2012 at Bethpage Black, and we've got another one looking to party like it's 2014. So, Hunt paces to the side of the 8 forwards, all in white to her right-hand side. Canada have been struggling so badly to contain the appetite, the firepower of England at scrum time, and they are going to have to produce the shove of their lives if they are to prevent the world number ones, unbeaten in 32, from rumbling over for a fourth, which might just put this one to bed. Rising and going is Matthews. Tackled by Crossley. Options to the right and the left for England. Hunt calls in Cabella, who picks and goes around the corner. 21-8. They lead Canada in this one. They've won the last 13 in this head-to-head, but this would matter more than any of them. Ward wants to go, gets paused to her, has a crash and a rumble, and there's the score! England with their fourth. The posts flash green, but the stadium erupts in red. And that World Cup winner Kat Merchant might just be an insurmountable gap now for Canada.
Yeah, I think it will be. I think their heads are going to go down slightly. They've been brave, they've tried things, but I just think this England defence has been next level. They've not let Canada attack, but again, we've spoken about this a lot. The pack for England are just relentless. They deliver time and time again, and they have really stepped up this World Cup final. Kat Merchant in commentary alongside me, but also Philippa Tuttiett, who will come to on the other side of this conversion from Zoe Harrison. It should be a relatively straightforward effort by her lofty standards. 3 from 3 so far for the Saracen, and England fly half. She gives that a good nudge. It's off the woodwork. You jinxed her.
I did, of course I did. Zoe, I'm sorry. 26 plays 8, less than 30 minutes left on the clock, and Philippa Tuttiett picking up on Kat Merchant's point there. We talk so much about Canada's glittering backline, the Olympic silver medal that they won last summer, but ultimately rugby is one up front, and my word, England have had them up front today.
Yeah, they certainly have. They've looked like more cohesive than the Canadian forwards. We've seen the Canadian forwards go off in ones, and they're getting turned over. They're kind of playing into England's hands, but I also think defensively, they're not just making their tackles, England, they're holding players up and just slowing down the speed of tempo that Canada can play with.
Canada wanted to create chaos. They thrive in unstructured, improvisatory patterns, but England have enforced structure upon these rugby mavericks, the world's number 2s. It's their fullback, Julia Schell, who has it now and carries up to just over halfway, heads in field, eventually tackled. Peltier on now to Crossley, getting low and chopping hard is Aldcroft, the captain. Little offload and then picked up and dumped down by Bosserman, illegally so. Hannah Bosserman letting a rush of blood to the head, not just cost England the penalty, but Hannah Bosserman herself. England down to 14, yellow card shown.
Yep. Straight yellow though, so she's not gonna go to bunker for review.
That though, potentially a lifeline for Canada, trailing 8 points to 26, but England without their talismanic loose head.
Yeah, I want to watch it again because she picks her, tips her past that should go to bunker.
I am really surprised that Holly Davison hasn't given that to bunker. You do almost feel like it's a matter of course now. Every time a player goes off for anything close to a yellow, it's always a bunker.
No, it's a sub, because you can't call a bunker later.
And 5.
So you've got to do it on the pitch. So if referee goes, yeah, it's yellow or it's red, it's that. Unless you go to bunker, which they can then review.
I mean, the Canadian player did very well to cautiously pull her head in. If she'd have been sort of more limp, she could have landed on her head then. And that's a straight red.
Yeah, I'm very surprised by that.
Well, Canada have broken the glass Mark's book-a-boom because Tyson is on at her 4th World Cup, wearing 19, the lock forward, and so too is Olympic silver medalist and captain of that history-making squad, Liv Apps. So they have a new forward in the pack, they have a new scrum half in the backfield, and England are without Hannah Bottoman. Emily Tatosi nails the line-out throw from just inside the 22 and swiftly joins the back of it. Apps is there watching as Canada creep forwards, 15 metres the gap now. Corrigan's on the short side and there is a galaxy of speedsters to the open. Now Corrigan jogs around and in a moment the referee will tell them to use it. Here comes the call. Canada still working with this maul, and now they ship it onto Tessier in at first receiver, out the back and onto Perry. Numbers. Canada have the overlap. Shell picks out Hogan Rochester, who floors it and scores. Canada might just have cracked open the door of opportunity at Twickenham. It's 13-16, kick to come, and England punished immediately for Hannah Bottoman's ill-discipline.
Really clinical stuff, wasn't it, from Canada? And that was exactly the glimpses of magic that we saw in the first half. We wanted more of, except they were kicking it away. This time, they've obviously learned their lessons. They've kept the ball in hand. And honestly, when they connect like that, is there a better team in World Rugby that looks so free-flowing?
I don't think there is. I think the way that they managed to get it wide and flat to their wingers at pace is just, no other team has done it. New Zealand close possibly, but Canada, when they do it well, they just absolutely deliver.
De Goody from right out on that far touchline, doesn't quite make it. She's been so strong off the tee all tournament long, but the flags stay down, so it's 13-26. Speaking of all things tea related, if you fancy your Ryder Cup fix, you can head over to Sports Extra 3, Sports Extra 2. We've got Premier League action for you, and then eventually, if you want Nottingham Forest up against Sunderland in the Premier League, Sports Extra will be your home for that. So if you are listening to the rugby on Sports Extra, channel hot now, do it so you don't get a Sunderland-shaped surprise in all of 10 minutes time. This is the final of the 10th Women's Rugby World Cup, and it is the Red Roses on home turf leading 26 points to 13. Canada have 25 minutes to close that gap and 7 minutes remaining on the Hannah Bottoman yellow card. Restart is deep, it's messy ball, but Apps eventually unearths it, and now this is Sophie De Goody wearing 5 on her back, carrying hard up over the 22. Either her or Meg Jones will be named World Player of the Year at full time of this one, but neither of them want the individual accolade today. They are here for something bigger and mightier, a World Cup title, and Canada have just managed the half break through the midfield. Apps is in a foot race with Jess Breach. The kick needs to be gathered. It's Canada's scrum half who has done remarkably well. Canadian ball, quick as a flash, into England's 22. They're 15 metres out. England defending with 14, and there are numbers out wide for Canada. Paquin with the show and the go. 5 metres between Kevin Rouet's women, the so-called dark horses, and another score. Hogan Rochester hunting for her hat-trick. 4 metres the difference now. Meg Jones drives the Canadian winger back. De Goody straightens, revs. Penalty advantage going the way of Canada. They're 3 metres from the score as Menin adds a mighty, meaty carry. Tessier to within 3. Offload squirts backwards. Canada still playing under advantage. They will come back for the penalty at worst. Apps, crossfield kick. Hildan will watch that into the breadbasket, call the mark, and back we return for the penalty.
Canada just really showing up with the pace that they play, and this is, they play so well when they do this, and it's that breakthrough. Liv Apps has already made a difference. She's like broken through, she's making link plays, like, and Canada are just so dangerous when they do get it wide. There's flat passes, they're stressful to watch, I think, as an English.
Just like the French.
Yeah,
that's
just
why
like
you
the French.
said that.
Yeah. This is very stressful right now.
Well, they also have a French head coach in Kevin Rouet, the mechanical engineer who started coaching women's rugby on the side and realised it was time to make the hobby the day job when he sat at his desk at his mechanical engineering job, by all accounts, just daydreaming of strike moves. So he switched over, joined the women's programme full-time, and here he is, arguably in line for Coach of the Year if they can pull off the upset to end all upsets. 5 metre line out, lands with De Goody. Canada with the maul, creeping forwards. Abby Dow is screaming for support on that far touchline, but for now Canada leave it in. Told to use it, not going anywhere. So Apps with options all the way across the pitch here at Twickenham, where there are 80,000 seated, glued to this enthralling World Cup final. England leading 26 points to 13. Hannah Bottoman watching on from a plastic naughty step before us. Canada to within 2 metres. Round the corner comes Castle. Big carry from the Canadian prop. 57 minutes played. They've got a quarter left, Canada, and an advantage to flex. So a penalty before the sticks if they can't score something more, something meaningful here. Shell has it, scampers in against the grain. She's slippery as an eel, the trail finder. Apps pulled to touch by Kildun, but manages to stay in field. So we'll come back for the penalty. De Goody shaping to go quickly here, jogs back over, told to cool it.
Offside.
Canada with a very kickable option.
I wouldn't have been upset if Sophie De Goody had tapped that quickly, actually.
Well, they're shaping to go quickly here are the Canadians. So Corrigan's on this near touchline. Hogan Rochester, who's been the strike weapon all tournament long, is on the far touchline. But this is going to be a case of big sleeves over big biceps being rolled up firmly. They keep it with the forwards. De Goody wants it. Oh, it's been knocked on. Oh, Canada, was that your moment?
Yes. That was the moment. They had to score. They absolutely had to score. They had England under pressure. They were getting them, giving penalties away. They had to punish them there, and right under the post as well, to get this game to within a score.
Time off, please.
21 minutes remaining, and a score there, if converted, would have brought the gap to within a 11. Try and a kick. Canada 13, England 26. We'll have a pause in proceedings because England are going to make a couple of changes. Just Breach is leaving the field of play.
Is the prop on?
So she is making way so Kelsey Clifford can come on, so England can compete in this scrum because Hannah Bottoman is still under that yellow card. Here comes Kelsey Clifford, so one Saracen leaves, another one arrives. Claire Thomas, I've got Kat Merchant and Philippa Tatia alongside me. There are 81,000 people packing this place out. A fitting finale to what has been a festival of rugby. 440,000 through the turnstiles over 6 barnstorming weeks. England will scrummage here with Alex Matthews' prolific heels right on their try line. So a defensive scrum. And if they can clear here safely, that might just be one hand on the World Cup trophy.
Bind!
Natasha Hunt, who sat at home bereft, heartbroken during the last World Cup final.
If you continue to do that, I will free kick you. You go left of her, yes.
What's she doing?
She's putting her head into the space of the loose head. You go this way, not to the right.
Okay. We're not doing anything. Good job. Here we go.
Philippa, over to you.
I'm just glad I'm not on the wrong side of Holly Davison, I tell you.
There's a reason she's just become the first woman to oversee 2 World Cup finals. England hoping that this one ends differently to the last. Heartbreak, 34-31 at Eden Park. You're listening to the Rugby World Cup final here on 5 Live. England 26, Canada 13. Coming up on Sports Extra at 5:25 is commentary of Forest against Sunderland in the Premier League. England with the penalty at the scrum. If they are going to lift this World Cup, it is going to be riding on the backs of their Rolls Royce of a pack.
Yeah, they're going to have to thank 1 to 8 and the subs as well, because it's the forwards that have just consistently got England out of pressure moments.
So much hype around Canada coming into this match, Philippa. They've been the form team at this tournament. They knocked New Zealand, the reigning champions, a dynasty side, really, out at Ashton Gate last Friday night. They haven't really been able to get their game on the park today, which is infuriating because when we've seen glimpses of it, it's resulted in tries.
Yep, and that's what's credit to the best teams in the world here, England. If you can stifle what the other team are trying to do and then also bring your A game of what you can do, that's the winning formula. But it's a lot easier said than done. No one has been able to get under the skin of this Canadian team, but England have.
And now England ring the changes. We wondered when this moment would happen. We have sung their praises. Here come the reinforcements, the cavalry. On is Sarah Byrne and Lark Atkin-Davies, and also at scrum half, Lucy Packer. Abby Ward receiving that line out with daughter Hallie watching on. This is her 3rd World Cup, but her first as a mother, and hasn't she been magnificent Steepling kick taken by Corrigan in the midfield. Big shot coming in from Tatiana Hurd. To the short side they go. Hogan Rochester looks up, sees a forward in Cabella in front of her and skins her. Tackled eventually. Apps to it swiftly, picks out Bukaboom, lays that back on a plate for Tutosi. Still going, the Canadian hooker, with 61 minutes on the clock. She played 77 against New Zealand last Friday night. Are they tired out there? They've certainly got a mountain to climb because they're trailing by 13 points with 18 minutes left. 61 on the match clock and less than a minute on Hannah Bosselman's sin bin. Switching the point of attack just outside her 22 is Zoe Harrison. She finds Dow. 9 tries and counting this calendar year for the England winger. Ward onto Matthews. Hurd has it now. Kildunn just dancing again along the painted blades of grass of that touchline. Grubbers it through and onto Tessier. Canada's captain carries in field and Marmalise. Whopper of a shot there from England's captain. Captain on captain. It was the Red Roses skipper coming out on top. Shell with the ball. Simons up over the 10-metre mark. Time running out on Bottomans' yellow card. So England defending with 14 for seconds longer. Bukaboom up and onto the 10-metre line. England's have infringed, so Canada have a free hit here. Tessier, it's an awkward pass. They're just not sticking today, but Corrigan does have it in that 5-metre channel. Chips it, regathers her own. Canada into the 22 without advantage now.
Back we go.
So we'll come back for that penalty.
She's tackled.
Yeah, Corrigan did really well there. So she kicks over, regathers, but Kildunn puts the tackle in. Corrigan thinks she can get back up, but she was held, so that's why they're coming back for the original high tackle from Byrne there.
So England leading this World Cup final 26 points to 13. If you're listening to us on Sports Extra, hop over to 5 Live so you don't miss a second of this historic occasion, and we will leave you in the hands of our wonderful commentary team at Forest versus Sunderland.
Canada's handling errors just creeping in a little bit here, not as in the knock-ons, but they're just checking. Me and Philippa sang their praises about how nice it is when they get the ball out wide and flat, but they're just passing behind players, not quite being able to hit at full pace, and that's costing them.
63 minutes. Hannah Bottoman has seen out her sin bin, so England have 15. Defending this line out, you can see all of the rose hats and the cowboy hats and the St George's flags in the stands behind Tutosi, who has been really rattled by the noise, by the occasion today. But Canada have it down safely and they've got an advantage as well. So Forteza, the Stade Bordelais number 8, carries them to within 10. Crisp ball placement, and round the corner comes Tutosi. The throws haven't quite worked today, but the carries certainly haven't. The same can be said of Menon over the top of Talling, but well met. Through the midfield there was to Goody, but we will return for the penalty. England's discipline starting to creak a smidge.
Well, I think that was just a knock-on actually in the line out there, so it would just be a scrum going over to Canada.
Back they wander. There must be some shattered Canadian legs. Their cohesion has been one of their strengths, Philippa, but having that 9, 10, 12, 13, 15 spine starting all 6 games at this World Cup, and so often the forwards playing upwards of 70 minutes, you just wonder if it's one game too far.
Yeah, that was the talking point, wasn't it, coming into it? And I don't know whether I can see them being fatigued due to that, or just because England are moving them so well around the field. I mean, they do say that as much as they've kept that spine of the team when it comes to training through the week, they're not doing that much time on legs. And I mean, Kevin Rouet, he is meticulous. You can imagine he's got GPSs on them and every split second monitoring every tiny step they take. So, you know, yes, they've played a lot, but I think it has been managed.
Well, the instruction today was to be brave, not silly, and to play what you see. They will need that instinct, that guile now. With the scrum 10 metres out, England have just gone right over the top of them. And you can't play with a ball that you don't have. England scrum penalty. This place erupts, and you get the sense that England have just won their 3rd world title.
Yeah, the pack are just not allowing Canada to have any ball. Like, you know, they're getting in really good positions where really they should score, and this could make this a 1-try game in it. But the pack for England are just absolutely denying Canada that opportunity.
They told us in the week, England, the statement from the players was our best is coming. It's not been a faultless World Cup campaign, far from it. In fact, at points it hasn't even been convincing. They were willing to admit in the media that Canada have outplayed them all tournament long, but they said it's going to be 80 minutes, winner takes all, and we know that if we can hit our straps, if we can find our ceiling, then we will be the ones hoisting that trophy aloft. Canada make yet more changes. So off are Crossley and Packer, and Emily Totosi jogging off wearily before us, applauded from the pitch by their teammates. They do have that 6-2 split, Canada, so they can unload plenty of forwards onto the pitch here. 66 minutes gone. Canada 13, England 26, and losing the ball through contact there. So it's a Canadian scrum just inside their own half. And Liv Apps has arrived with so much energy, so much authority. She's marshalling
Number 12.
everyone else around the field here. They're setting up for something.
Yeah, and I think they're looking at maybe making some subs here for England. Yes, they are, and here are the game changers coming on.
So on comes Holly Aitchison and also Helena Rowland. Figureheads playing at 10 and 13 respectively the last time England faced Canada. They beat them in October in the global competition called WXV, and it was Aitchison pulling the strings. Rowland is the defensive lead and kicking the goals. And it means that all of a sudden, Philippa Tatia, England have 4 genuinely world-class playmakers on the pitch to see this one out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what 2 superstars. Any other team in the world would be starting those players. Yeah, that is the luxury, the strength and depth that England have, that they're bringing on a Holly Aitchison and a Helena Rowland. You talk about Canada being the Swiss Army knife. Helena Rowland personifies that. 9, 10, 12, 15. She can play it everywhere.
Miss Versatility, John Mitchell calls her, the most valuable member of our squad. And that not a moniker that he would give up lightly. England, free kick at the scrum. Sarah Byrne roars her approval. And it is rugby by erosion, this. They are chipping and chiselling away at the Canadian defiance, at their excitement to come here and poop this party before 80,000. Harrison hands the ball to Kildun in the midfield. Have they got a trick play here, England? They do. It's a spiral, it's high, it's going to land just outside the 22. Canada drop it. England are toying with them now, toying with the world number 2s. They have it back. Rowland with the ball just inside the 22. Lucy Packer with electric speeds at the breakdown, straight into it, whips it out, does the same again. Harrison with the dummy and the go. England to within 12 metres now, and that back line is purring. Ward onto Talling, the 2 locks in tandem. 68 minutes played, the gap is still 13. England bearing down on another. Snarling now at the home of England rugby. They've saved their best till last. Packer with so many options around her, and it's a try for Alex Matthews. England past the 30-point mark, and that is it. They are going to win their home World Cup with a performance that has been as brutal as moments have been beautiful.
Absolutely, they have just turned up when it's counted, and I'm so glad that they stuck to what they're good at, and that is the pack. just use your pack, and the fitness of this team as well, the amount of work they do, the carries, they dominate scrums, they put pressure on defensive line-outs, they work so hard.
Alex Matthews, quite extraordinarily playing in her 4th consecutive World Cup final. And she always saves her best for the biggest moments. Zoe Harrison playing in her 2nd, and who has wrestled that fly half jersey off the likes of Helena Rowland and Holly Aitchison under so much pressure in that position. Well, she remains almost faultless off the tee today. 33 plays 13. England with 5 tries at the Allianz Stadium here, and Canada with 10 minutes and much too much to do. Further changes made by John Mitchell, who watches on from the coaching box. On comes Rosie Galligan and Maddie Fayanati in the forwards pack. This, a bit of a masterclass from John Mitchell. He was under much more pressure than even Zoe Harrison. He's here at his 5th World Cup as a head coach. A dramatic exit in 2003 with New Zealand. It's with England men in 2019, and he was brought in to help England win this trophy, to finally reclaim that world title. His entire tenure came down to the 80 minutes played today, and so far it's been a rollicking success. Feonati's first carry in a World Cup final. Harrison lashes that one, reaches for a driver to pinch one from you, Ian Carter, and sends that one up over halfway. Tessier returns it to the England 22. There's less than 10 minutes to play, 20 points the gap. England 33, Canada 13 in this World Cup final. Harrison carries up to just inside her 22, and Canada looking tired now. Their forwards walking into position defensively. Galligan, she's got fresh legs and full lungs, and really looking to make her mark, to play her part. Aitchison's clearance kick will just stay in field. Corrigan onto Apps. Canada with room to work in, but flying out of the defensive line from nowhere was Aldcroft. Makes her tackle. Shell with a little basketball pop pass. Canada to the 10-metre line now through the young outside centre Simons. Apps picking out Tessier. This now for Taser with the step back and then forth and splitting England's backfield. Hogan Rochester on for a hat-trick, but ensnared. Harrison's really put herself about defensively as well as ball in hand, and with that kicking game today. 9 minutes remaining. England 33, Canada 13. All of that talk of an upset, of spoiling the party by the Canadians, and it's been the Red Roses all day long. A carry from Gabby Senft, on and wearing 21 for Canada. And this is now Olivia de Merchant, who played in that World Cup final in 2014, the last time Canada were in the grand finale of this competition. They are all out of time. They're playing for pride at this stage. Big shot, Byrne on Bukaboom, 2 legends of the game. Kick over the top from Canada, looking to pin Ellie Kildum back, but she's gathered it up, sends it long, alleviates a little bit of pressure, and the smile on the World's Player of the Year's face tells you everything you need to know.
Oh, absolutely does. I remember her face from back in 2022 when they lost. She just looked completely bewildered. So I think she won't let herself. I don't think any of the players in there, even though it's 33-13, they won't accept it's won yet. That they will be very on it right until that final whistle.
Well, we spoke to Zoe Aldcroft, England captain, in the week about what she remembered of that final, because she was knocked out early on in the fixture, and she says the memories are patchy, but she has vivid recollections of sobbing on the bench, unable to re-enter the fray against the Black Ferns at Eden Park, and turning to Tatiana Hurd next to her and saying this wasn't the plan. England were meant to win that World Cup. They were expected to win that World Cup. They'd won 30 straight test matches. Today, things have stuck. And they're leading now 33 points to 13, and they had to see out 7 minutes against a Canadian side who are starting to flag. White jerseys flocking to the breakdown here. To Goody with the no-look pass infield. Canada with an advantage to flex here, but they're outside the 22, and they have had precious little quality possession in this second half. Meg Jones, who surely is 10 minutes away from being named World Player of the Year for 2025 with the tackle. Canada with swift hands through the midfield, and De Merchant is into the 22. De Goody with the pick and the go, the other nominee for that global accolade. Bukaboom back into the pocket for Perry. Tessier, here comes Simons, offloads from the deck. Seumano Tafa is on, wearing 23. The Chiefs Manawa utility back. Here is Bukaboom. Back up and on to the 22. England 33, Canada 13, and yet to register a shot, really, since the opening score from Hogan Rochester. It has been one-way traffic, to the delight of those banging drums and chanting and singing and bedecked in cowboy hats and red roses here in London. Perry is forced to gather a tricky, jinking ball along the floor because these passes just aren't sticking for Canada, not like they did last Friday night against New Zealand. Offloading forwards was Sophie de Goody, so England, music to their ears, will have another scrum.
Yeah, and they'll just look to now slow this down, like play this last 6 minutes out, and why shouldn't they? They have just delivered so well today.
Well, it was Sunderland who hosted us so beautifully on the opening night of this tournament. And it's Sunderland who are in action now against Forest in the Premier League over on Sports Extra. Sports Extra 2 will have a little bit of ball-by-ball commentary for you of Hampshire versus Surrey in the County Championship. Sports Extra 3, the home of the Ryder Cup, which will be back on 5 Live Airways after we have sifted through the bones of this one. England leading, not in cruise control, but with one hand on the trophy, which glints before us in the tunnel mouth here at the Allianz Stadium in Twickenham. Lucy Packer, who started that last ill-fated World Cup final down in the land of the long white cloud. She will pop the ball in here. Helena Rowland hugging this near touchline. You suspect they'll let the forwards do what they have done all day. And just like that, we'll have a reset.
I was just looking, it popped up with the stats, and England have made 178 tackles as the leading side into this fixture, so it just shows how much defence does win games, and they've been relentless. They've not let Canada have any easy ball, and fair play to them, they've put in such a shift.
Well, they made over 200 against France last week, and how important do you think, Philippa, that outing was for the Red Roses? Ahead by just 7 points to 5 at half-time, forced to problem solve, to adapt, to dig deep.
Absolutely, but also to feel rattled and know that's what international rugby is about. But to know that you have a way to get back into it, that's all about confidence building. That's what gives you the security. And going down within the first couple of minutes to Canada to a try, but you looked around the England team, they just walked back up, okay, let's go. So yeah, it was perfect. You know, the English, we've got to thank the French.
Oh, goodness me, words that are very rarely spoken here in Twickenham. 76 minutes on the clock. England are 4 minutes away from dreamland. Lucy Packer seizing it from the base of that scrum. 33-13, they lead Canada. This is 1 against 2 in the world, but there's only one side who are going to come out the happiest. And Kildunn, who opened England's account earlier on, has just pinned Canada back on their own 22.
Yeah, really smart kick from her as well. I thought she might want to run it. I thought we're enough ahead for her to just put her head down and go, but smart play there.
Kildunn jogs back over halfway with those distinctive blonde curls bouncing atop that prolific head. Canada with a huddle. Final conversation before they set for this line out. 3 minutes to play. And 2 little pieces of information have been given out to the delight of the grounds here. Firstly, that Sadia Kabeya has been awarded Player of the Final. After an inexhaustible performance, she has been, as ever, virtually omnipresent. And the other bit of news, that the official attendance today, 81,885. Not a seat to be found. The black market has been almost as lively as Sadia Kabeya. The hottest tickets in town. And they will watch England see this one out. Canada will feed the scrum, and the celebrations won't start just yet out on the field, but you can see England's bench hugging one another. Maud Muir puts an arm around Abby Ward. Natasha Hunt watching on. Winner in 2014. She will be a winner again today in 2015. Kat, that victory in 2014, it changed your life. You've barely been able to move this week for functions and appointments and radio appearances. What do these girls have to look forward to?
Oh, it's going to change their life, because no one can take it away from you. They will always be a world champion, and especially for the girls out there who have lost not 1 but 2 World Cups, to then finally win it, that feeling, they're going to feel relieved, they're going to feel happy, and they're going to get incredible offers moving forward from this.
Plenty of them still, so much still to come. They're a young team, this England lot. Canada playing off the scrum. Corrigan up over halfway. Rowland with the tackle. She's done wonderfully, the Canadian winger, to stay in field there beneath the watchful eye of our touch judge. England 33, Canada 13, and 90 seconds left on a match that we just don't want to end. Canada, ball in hand, looking to finish with a flourish. How well they have done to be at this stage, beating the likes of Wales and Fiji and Scotland, Australia and the Black Ferns of New Zealand to set up a date with destiny and an all-conquering Red Rose, who have won themselves a penalty on the deck. 60 seconds to flex their sizable muscles.
Yeah, they could just soak it in now, I think, as well, with just that under a minute to go. I mean, they're still all looking really, really focused, but there's a few smiles creeping in, and I think we're just going to see this stadium go absolutely wild on the final whistle.
And the smiles will be such a relief, because, Philippa, they were under so much pressure today.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, they're host nations and they are the best team in the world. So this was all, you know, in the stars. It was written in the stars, but going out and doing it is another matter. But I think they've just been fantastic today. They've completely stifled Canada's play. They've put so much pressure on them. They've brought what we know England can do, but with also a little bit of innovation as well to keep the crowd excited.
Swing Low rings out around a packed-out Allianz Stadium as England nail the line out just outside the 22. They have sputtered in their home World Cup, but no one will give a monkeys about that because they have shown up to the big dance with better moves than anybody else. Not least Canada, who are still defending for their lives here at this set piece, but the clock has gone red and all England need to do is hoof the ball off the pitch to seal the deal. Canada turn it over at the Maul, but it matters not, because England are World Cup champions. Red roses on home soil and before 80,000. Zoe Aldcroft throws hands to the sky and the sobs leave her body as Twickenham is awash with cowgirl hats and roses with banners and boas and t-shirts which scream for the girls as white jerseys effervesce on the emerald rectangle before us and Canadian players throw their arms around one another. It has been 11 years since their last title, a decade of dominance, of records of trailblazing and heroics, but on this stage of repeated heartbreaks. But today, at last, when it mattered more than ever before, they have done it, and England can crown themselves queens of the rugby world.
They had so much pressure on them, so much, and they absolutely absorbed it. They delivered. It wasn't pretty getting through the tournament. I don't think they fully showed their capability, but it doesn't matter because today, when it really counted, and they had to win this World Cup. There was no doubt anything other than lifting that trophy was a failure, and they have done absolutely outstanding. Every single player there, every single player on the bench, every single player in that squad. It was tears in Auckland at Eden Park before what was then a world record crowd for a Women's Rugby World Cup. They smashed that on the opening night in Sunderland, and they have just kept their foot to the floor as a tournament, as a side. And look how different these tears are today. Ellie Kildun hugging Amy Cockayne, Abby Dow embracing her teammates. They're bringing out all the furniture, the paraphernalia for the trophy presentation, and all of those in white. And there are an awful lot of them in white. We'll be so pleased to see that it is Zoe Aldcroft who will very shortly, Philippa Tuffia, be hoisting that trophy beneath London skies.
Yeah, and you talk about those fans. I've been in Twickenham, the privilege of being in Twickenham for quite a few games now. I have never felt the Gowntry bounce. We are literally vibrating up and down as the crowd is jumping around. It is absolutely insane.
John Mitchell is out on the pitch. A man who, by his own admission, has mellowed so much in this role. His first time working with women, he says there is never a dull moment. They have stunned him, they have surprised him, and they have hit him right in the feels. They have sunk their teeth into this man's very heart. He's a family to them and they are to him, and you can only imagine, Kat, what this must mean.
Oh, I think it means a lot. He said before, it's not just changed him as a coach, it's changed him as a person, because they really have had that impact on him, the way he communicates, like the way he's embraced like the you know what they embody, and it's just, we're seeing some incredible scenes here of players just bawling from the England side. There's happy tears because they finally done it, and I'll say the first feeling, it isn't happiness, it's relief. For the ones who have lost it before, the first feeling is relief. We didn't lose it again. To the players who it's their first World Cup, they're probably just delighted straight away. But I tell you what, the ones who have gone through heartache, they're going through a whole range of emotions right now.
Well, Zoe Aldcroft, who is named captain for this most special of years for English rugby, it doesn't come naturally to her. She doesn't love the limelight. She is about to be thrust into an unprecedented spotlight, but she cannot stop crying before us as Sadia Kabea is presented with her Crystal Player of the Match trophy by none other than Dan Carter himself. But Philippa, how about Canada? Because never has the dark horses tag been so misplaced. 5 barnstorming rounds of rugby and a seat at the top table for the first time in over a decade.
Yeah, absolutely. It was thoroughly deserved, and I'm just so excited to see where Canada Rugby's going to go from here, because they have caught the hearts and the minds of everyone around the world, and you know the right people in Canada have been watching this with a bit more funding, a bit more support. Gosh, look out for them in the next World Cup.
Well, Ellie Kildun spoke ahead of this championship, and she said this isn't a revenge story. This is a rewriting. England have just written their name into the history books. Kat, you might be a little biased. You were winning a gold medal back in 2014, but where does this England group rate, bearing in mind that is now 33 matches unbeaten?
Oh, no, it's incredible. And the pressure on them was just so much, and that can do things to teams, and they really did step up. And so I just think they will go down in history as one of the best teams in the world, with the records they've been breaking now to finally lift the trophy as well. They're incredible.
Sadia Kabea has just taken the microphone off the in-bowl interviewer, and she really actually epitomises why I think the nation have fallen in love with this Red Roses squad. She is young, she is fearless, she tackles her heart out on the pitch, but also away from it. She's been one of the faces of the Barbie collaboration. There's a mural of her with a young girl in Northampton painted on a wall. She's released that satin scrum cap so that other young girls with afro hair can play rugby without fear of breakage and can feel at home on a pitch. There are so many personalities, Kat Merchant, and they have won over so many hearts.
Oh, and so many different personalities as well. They're all unique. Meg Jones, we've spoken about her at the start of the show. She's incredible. She's overcome awful things that have happened to her, and she's got stronger and stronger. And then you get the Abby Dowles, the quiet ones who are actually into crochet. You know, they really do have amazing personalities, and what's been great is they all are celebrated. They're not expected to behave in any one set way. They are themselves, and they're allowed to go out and express that.
But critically, they have now the performance, the title, to underline all of that, because it is no good having a range of merchandise in affiliation with the Spice Girls if you're not then home World Cup champions. But they've handled that pressure, they've turned it into the best 80 minutes of their campaign when it mattered most. And Philippa, it sent out a message to the rugby world. Kat touched on it there, but if you want to enjoy success like the Red Roses are enjoying right now on the pitch before us, where they are building the biggest podium that I have ever seen, you have to invest in your women as athletes and as humans.
Absolutely, and it's not just about investing in these women here, there's 23, it's about investing in the domestic league. The PWR, the Premiership Women's Rugby, is the best in the world, where so many of these players have harnessed their crafts, and many of the Canadian players say how much it's benefited their game as well. So yeah, hats off, but continued investment. Let's keep going.
England still embracing one another out on the pitch. Some handshakes with the Canadians, who are slowly drifting into a red huddle just before us. Kevin Rouet is speaking inside that circle, and it will hurt desperately right now, Kat, but when the dust settles on this campaign, given that they had to crowdfund in order to reach the final, not to be here, but in order to have world-class operational support, they've done immensely.
Oh yeah, and it is, you cannot explain how horrific it is losing in a World Cup final, because all the coulda, woulda, shouldas, all the, should I kick that, should I pass that? And we're just seeing now on the big screen England getting engraved onto the trophy. And I'll tell you what, if that doesn't give you goosebumps as an English person, I don't know what will. Absolutely incredible. But yeah, you have to feel for the Canadians, and that is what sport gives you. It gives you absolute elation, and it gives you devastation, and I think Canada can be really proud of what they've achieved.
Well, it has been a long time in between drinks for England. A title in 1994, another one in Paris in 2014, perhaps this one the most precious of the lot on home soil. And your player of the match was Sadia Kabea, so let's get her thoughts. She's alongside Rupert Cox.
Just listen to that. What does that feel like?
Yeah, it's amazing. I just want to say thank you to everyone who came out here today. You are our 16th man on the pitch. Yeah, we're just so grateful.
You're a world champion. How does that sound?
Honestly, it sounds amazing. It's a pinch me moment, but this has been years and years in the making, so yeah, I'm just glad we could pull it off for you guys.
Such a dominant performance from England. We were gushing about Canada and the way they could play all through this tournament, but you saved your best for last today, didn't you?
all props to Canada. They're a great side, they put up a great fight, but, we've been working really, really hard for this. I think we did all the right things today, and that showed in our game.
And Sadia, tell us about your journey, Streatham and Croydon Rugby Club, where it all started for you. And here you are now, winning a World Cup for England in front of a world record crowd. Incredible stuff.
Yeah, all I can say is big up South London.
Well, congratulations. You are the MasterCard player of the match. Well played, Sadia.
I'll say one more thing. Also, big up the legend that is Marley Packer. Thank you.
Well, I'd love to tell you that I heard every word of that, but I cannot tell you what the noise is like at this stadium.
So the thoughts of Sadia Kaveh, player of the match, and then perhaps a little blast of Gabby Logan for you. There will be so much coverage over on BBC One. If you want to enjoy all the build down to events that we have seen today, then please tune in there and check wherever you get your podcasts from, because we will be recording a special on the Whistle pod. Philippa, these are our last few moments on air of this 2025 Women's Rugby World Cup. I said it at the top of the show, but events in Sunderland were a bit of an indicator that the sport and this tournament were never going to be the same again. This is less of a line in the sand and more a meteor across the sky. This World Cup, we must never take a backward step.
No, and I really don't see how we could, because so many people have fallen in love with the game. There's genuine passion there. With passion comes commitment. All these people now have had their eyes and ears opened to women's rugby. They're going to want to see more. Get down to the domestic scene, follow your international team, because the only way is up from here.
The only way is up. Let's hope that is the case. The sun sinks lower in the sky here at Twickenham. It is bathing the completely packed out top tier of this stadium in a gorgeous golden light. Shortly we will see England's girls become all golden too, because they are back on top of the rugby world for the first time since 2014. Let's hope that their European counterparts in the Gulf can make it another transatlantic triumph. Chappers, all yours.
Thank you very much, Claire. We'll be back with Claire a little bit later on. We'll have more reaction from Twickenham as well, and we will bring you the trophy lift. England are the Rugby Union World Cup champions. 8.5, 3.5 to Europe here at Bethpage Black in New York as the four balls get underway. We've got a tea time football match as well. This is on Sports Extra in the Premier League. Nottingham Forest against Sunderland. Pat Murphy.
It's 0-0. Sunderland may be new to the Premier League, but they're not playing like wide-eyed innocents. They're defensively composed, making Forest play sideways. They could have gone ahead early on. Forest defenders lost the ball. Big mix-up. Isidore Swivel shot just wide. Forest 0, Sunderland 0.
Sun beating down here in New York. 2 of the 4 balls out on the course. 2 more to get underway. 1 at 3 minutes to the hour, and then 1 at 6:15 UK time, or 30 minutes past 6 to be exact. Our golf correspondent Ian Carter is with us, and Europe were dominant once again. Ian, if people haven't been listening earlier or have been listening to the Rugby Union World Cup final, they are flying, are the Europeans.
They really are, and we said it right at the start of the week, just the importance of the foursome sessions. There's a direct correlation between the victors and how well they do in the foursomes. Ordinarily, and certainly since 2012, it has been the home team that has dominated the foursomes, and they have dominated the scoreboard. But right here in New York, Europe have thoroughly dominated the foursomes. They won the session by 3 points to 1 this morning, 6-2 overall, and in a really dominant position on this scoreboard now. And I wouldn't say it's all over yet. Obviously, it could all change, and America could sweep this afternoon. But it is very hard to see where the morale is, where the inspiration is for that to happen, because the Europeans have just been so dominant in terms of their analysis and execution.
And that's exactly it, isn't it? You don't want to get carried away too much at the moment, because these things can change very quickly, as we are well aware. And they're just about to announce the third match on the tee as I walk down the 18th fairway. But the other thing, Ian, no away team has ever won the first 3 sessions at a Ryder Cup. So that highlights just how impressive and how steely, really, the Europeans have been.
Yes, and their big players have delivered, the likes of John Rahm, Tommy Fleetwood and Rory McIlroy. They did it again this morning. Rahm with Tyrrell Hatton, who's a really underrated golfer, and again he is one of the big guns as well. And Luke Donald has known that he can depend on them. He can depend on McIlroy and Fleetwood as a partnership. They're unbeatable. The Americans have no answer to them whatsoever, and it means that, you know, Rahm is on the first tee now alongside Sepp Straka, who's a little bit undercooked, hasn't been able to play for a while because he's just become a father again, but he's got a big dependable bear of a partner, and it paid dividends yesterday. All the options are there for Luke Donald. You can see plan A, which is working beautifully as it did in Rome 2 years ago, but there's a plan B there's a plan C if things do go awry. For the Americans, it almost feels like they're just throwing the names up in the air this afternoon, seeing how they land and saying, right, go out there and try and turn this match around. I mean, no one would have thought of Scotty Scheffler and Bryson DeChambeau as a partnership, because they are such contrasting characters. Now, it may pay off. They're up against Fleetwood and Rose, but I know where my money would be right now.
Well, and that was actually going to be my final point to you at this stage. And look, our coverage is going to go through the evening here on 5 Live. If you want it uninterrupted at the moment for the early stages of the four balls, it's on Sports Extra 3, and that is one of the streams that you can find via the BBC Sounds app. But it's hard not to get the impression, isn't it? I'm sure they're not doing this, that the Americans have thrown some of the names up in the air and just seen how they've landed.
Well, they've got to find combinations that work, and they've only picked up 3.5 points so far out of a possible 12. It means that Europe only need, 5.5 points to retain the trophy. Mission accomplished. 5.5 points from 4 this afternoon and 12 tomorrow. So there's 16 matches from which to glean just 5.5 points to get the job done, and that is a wonderful position for Luke Donald's team. And Keegan Bradley, I just don't know what his strategy is. I think that they are undercooked in terms of the experience they have around him. He's not been involved in a Ryder Cup since 2014. He's got 2 vice captains who've never had any Ryder Cup experience. Jim Furyk's Ryder Cup experience is largely losing. You know, you look at it, and I said it in the build-up, and it's not with the benefit of hindsight that I'm saying this, and it might turn around. That's the magic of the Ryder Cup, but right now it's very hard to see. And I have to say that I think this American build-up, the appointment of the captain, the way that they've gone about this Ryder Cup in a playing sense has been an absolute shambles, and that's being reflected on the scoreboard right now.
Okay, so uninterrupted on Sports Extra 3 will be on 5 Live uninterrupted once the trophy lift has taken place at Twickenham, where England's women have beaten Canada in the Rugby Union World Cup final by 33 points to 13. Let me just round up the day's football headlines for you. I'll give you the Premier League scores. Crystal Palace 2, Liverpool 1. Eddie Nketiah getting a 97th minute winner at Selhurst Park. Liverpool had only equalised once again into the dying minutes of that game in the second half. At lunchtime, Manchester United beaten 3-1 at Brentford, which included Bruno Fernandes missing a penalty. Trevor Chalobah was sent off for Chelsea as they were beaten 3-1 at home by Brighton. It finished Leeds 2, Bournemouth 2. And at one stage at the Etihad, it was Manchester City 1, Burnley 1, but a dominant second half performance by Pep Guardiola's side gave them a 5-1 win. Elsewhere in the Championship, leaders Middlesbrough were held to a 1-1 draw at Southampton. Coventry moved up to second after a 3-0 win over Birmingham. Sheffield United earned their first point of the season. Chris Wilder back in charge, of course. They won 1-0 at Oxford. Bradford stay top of League One. They beat Blackpool 1-0. And Walsall won 3-1 at Accrington to go top of League Two. In the Scottish Premiership, Hearts have gone to the top after a comfortable 3-0 victory over Falkirk. Second place Celtic were held to a goalless draw at home by Hibs. In Cricket's County Championship, another remarkable story on a remarkable sporting day. Durham have been relegated after they were bowled out for just 85 by Yorkshire to lose by an innings and 44 runs. So that means that Hampshire are safe. They lost to Surrey, but they stay in the top division by 1 point. Let's get some more reaction from England's women winning the Rugby Union World Cup. Here's Mo Hunt.
Many people. Congratulations! You tasted this in 2014.
You certainly have, Zoe, and you played so well in that final. Your best performance. You must be so proud of your team to put it out there when it counted the most.
Katie did an amazing interview.
So proud of them, honestly.
I
know those girls can put a performance like that out, and we had to believe in every single one of us. There was no doubt in our minds coming into this today that we weren't going to do this job. And oh my God, it's unbelievable.
You talk about inspiration.
Oh, well, we're obviously having a few technical problems there. We'll bring you some more reaction from Twickenham very shortly. I'm sure some of those technical problems are caused by the sheer bedlam at Twickenham. At the moment, we can rejoin our team who are there. England winning by 33 points to 13. Claire Thomas, you can often get to a final and it be disappointing, or it'd be a little bit underwhelming and a team sneaks through, and it shouldn't be underestimated really, the sheer impressive performance of being dominant in a final.
Oh, absolutely not. You're dead right. Finals are often such cagey affairs. Nerves play a part, or over-trying, and England really did, as Kat Merchant said alongside me, they saved their best until last. They have waited it out all championship long. As John Mitchell requested from them, you don't need to be perfect, you just need to be effective. Well, they got themselves into the postseason party. They found themselves here on the biggest stage of pretty much all of their careers, maybe aside from those who won in 2014. And they produced their absolute best. It was a total masterclass in how to snuff out the Canadian brilliance, assert their physical dominance on the game, play the territory odds, stack those in their favour, and then be clinical when it counted most. So impressed by England. As someone who openly thought that Canada could well spring the upset today, I've got to take that back. We should never have doubted these Red Roses.
Well, that was the other thing, Kat Merchant, wasn't it? That they come into this, and they're obviously in the final of the World Cup, and they've been unbeaten since the last World Cup final, and yet because of what happened at the World Cup final, and indeed I asked a question about it, and because of people doubting how impressive they've been during their run to the final, it felt like they were coming into this with questions to answer.
Yeah, I think they were. Canada imposed themselves into this tournament in a way where they just were peaking at the right time and they were playing some impressive rugby. So yes, that did get people a bit worried because England had to show up. But boy, did they today. They really did show up when it counted, and just so incredibly proud of delivering, because the amount of pressure they were under has been unprecedented. It really has, the mounting pressure that's been on them, but they just soaked it up, and yeah, they are now world champions, which is just incredible.
I think, Claire, you sort of finished at the end by saying the only way is up, having won the World Cup final. But given their strength in depth, given their dominance, certainly European-wise, you're kind of looking long-term, are you, in how they can dominate the sport?
I think so, and it must be so difficult. I've never experienced it myself, chappers, but sitting at the top of a sport like England do, because you're there to be shot at. You are being hunted, and John Mitchell has said repeatedly over the course of this campaign, we like being hunted. We drive incredibly high standards internally. We love the fact that everybody is coming for us, but there were at points during this campaign where we wondered if the pressure was too much and whether they had peaked a year too soon. So you're right, it's that long-term success. It's continuing to dominate the Six Nations, and then it is building to a crescendo for the next World Cup down in Australia in 4 years' time. But make no mistake, the gap is shrinking. This was a really close World Cup final. Canada have pushed them hard in recent times, so have New Zealand. France, on their day, they came within a point of England here in May. Cass and I were here incredulous when the French pulled back a 21-point deficit in the second half, and they only lost that game by a point in the end. So England have to keep pushing on. They have to keep advancing. Their Sevens programme has been torn asunder in recent years. There's no funding there, and that is a key weapon in the armoury of the likes of New Zealand, the likes of France and Canada. So England needs to get that back up on its feet, and they cannot rest on their laurels because other nations are coming for them.
So if they're not going to rest on their laurels, but given how far ahead they are already then, Kat. What is the next stage for them? How do they keep the opposition at arm's length?
Well, I think for now they enjoy the moment of what's been coming for what feels like a long time for some of those players, and then they're all perfectionists in their performance. They'll go and take it into their club rugby, and they'll just want to keep winning, because the thing is, you want to now go back-to-back World Cups, and that will definitely be in some of their minds. Some of the younger players will have an eye on the next 4-year one. So I think that they just need to keep upping the standards as much as they can, and then as Claire said, the other nations are doing exactly the same and bridging the gap, so they need to keep pushing forward.
Okay, for the moment we'll just pause there. There's been a goal in the Tea Time Premier League game. Pat Murphy.
To Sunderland, scored by the centre-back Alderete. Disputed goal because Dominguez of Forest was booked for an innocuous tackle 30 yards out. Floated free kick, Forest not concentrating, round the back, Alderete, powerful header from 5 yards. Forest 0, Sunderland 1.
Okay, we are ready for the trophy lift at Twickenham and the medals to be presented. So Claire, it's all yours.
Well, we've heard from across the ponds over in New York that the likes of Rahm, of Fleetwood, of McIlroy have stepped up under the highest of pressure and with the eyes of the world upon them, and that is exactly what England's big players have done, and they are the ones first on that amber and pink podium before us at Twickenham, the likes of Hannah Bottoman, Amy Cockayne, Alex Matthews, who were talismanic, absolutely immense today, over 80 high-octane minutes. There's 2 podiums here. There's the stage where they receive their medals, and then there's the big one over which, in capital letters, it reads champions, because at last England have got the title to go with their stranglehold over the global game. They can underline their credentials, the missing ingredient on that storied CV. And I should mention at this point that no one has left the ground. There are fans here in French colours and in the Kiwis' black jerseys. There are Canadians still just packing this place out. And then, most importantly of all, there are all of those who came here to support the Cowgirls, the Red Roses. You cannot see a seat. It is absolutely immense, and Kat, it's the only way to finish this championship, really.
Oh, this has genuinely got me teary, like how far it's come, and yeah, you're right, everybody is here, they're cheering for these incredible women. Also for Canada, they're here, that have put on a good show for every single woman who turned up to this World Cup. Brazil coming, showing to their first World Cup, Samoa getting their first ever points. There's been so many amazing, wonderful moments in this, and I'm so proud and privileged to be part of it, because it is just a sport I love. It gives people so much and brings them together, and I'm so proud of the women today.
Kat Merchant was on a podium just like that in Paris at the Stade Jean-Bouin 11 years ago, and it has been 11 years for the Red Roses where they have won so many things. Their trophy cabinet overflows, but this is what has been missing. This is the scab that has been picked off every 4 years by New Zealand, but not this time, not in 2025. And as the final members of this group receive their medals and go to join the girls all in white on that final podium, they can breathe the most almighty sighs of relief, because this is all they have thought about, all they have worked for 3 long years. Last to receive their flowers is the captain, Zoe Aldcroft, who I don't think has stopped crying since the final whistle blew. She stood in the middle of the Red Roses huddle moments ago and said, "This is a special team. Soak it all in, every second." 81,885 at the Allianz Stadium in Twickenham, and it is Zoe Aldcroft who leaps up and down on that podium as the golden ticker tape falls, the pyrotechnics explode. Kat Merchant wipes tears off her face beside me, but she's not the only one. There are people in floods all around this place as the sky fills with coloured plumes of smoke. This World Cup has been a party from beginning to end, and these Red Roses, they're not going to want to go home, and I suspect they won't, not for a couple of days. There's a celebration planned for tomorrow, and now they all flood to the board, which reads champions, as if we couldn't see that word enough today, because they have worked so hard for this moment. Covered in gold, shimmering, the golden girls, the Red Roses, the world number ones, and now the world champions too.
Claire, thank you very much. Let's get some reaction. We'll try again. Here's Natasha Hunt with Sonia.
Mo, many congratulations. You tasted this in 2014. What does it mean to win the big prize with this group?
Oh, absolutely everything. I think in 2014, I know Katie did an amazing interview and just spoke about the fact that she wanted to leave a lasting impression, and this is just unimaginable. This whole day, the whole tournament, everything about it, to walk out here in front of nearly 82,000 and perform like that and get the job done, like, I could not be prouder of the girls. I'm so overwhelmed, I'm absolutely buzzing, and yeah, I just hope that everyone is here to stay for women's rugby.
A little word for John Mitchell and the coaching team, because I know there is a huge mutual respect between him and the players. What has he done for this group?
He's just kept it simple. Like, he's been very honest, sometimes brutally so, with a lot of his feedback, but I love that, I respect that. I think he's really fair in what he says sometimes, and he's got this week bang on. This week has always been about the process, it's been about the game, it's not been about the emotion of it, because that will take care of itself, and it really took care of itself today. Like, honestly, we played on the 16th member of the crowd, and it was just amazing.
How much is this a triumph for women's sport?
Oh, it's huge. Like, I don't think any of us could have imagined it would ever be like this, and I think that's testament to everyone behind the scenes, what they've done, and also everyone for keep showing up, and hopefully they're here to stay.
Many congratulations, Mo. Enjoy.
Thank you so much. Love Grandma and Grandad.
Natasha Mo Hunt with Sonia. Just a final one, Claire. What struck me, not just today, but in this World Cup and also in the Six Nations as well with this England team, you know, different sportsmen and women want to experience things in different ways, and different events provoke different emotions. But all the way through this, they've been determined to enjoy it and have fun, and the crowd in return have been determined to have fun, and that's what it's been for them from start to finish.
I think this World Cup has proven to people all over the world that men's rugby is brilliant. It is enthralling. It is so physical and exciting, and the skill level and the drama and everything. Men's rugby has its place, but there is a different world emerging in women's rugby. It is more fun. It is more of a party. You can listen to Pink Pony Club play 1 minute. You can mix everybody up. Everyone is in fancy dress here, chappers. Everyone has got a Red Roses cowboy hat on, and there's been a face painting queue the length of the road to Twickenham Stadium since 9 a.m. this morning. I saw it this morning, and there's a whole other niche being carved out here. We've heard the stats. 30% of those who bought a ticket to this World Cup had never been to a rugby match before. Half of them had never been to a women's game. But the crucial number is that 90% of them want to come back. And the party starts on the pitch. It starts with the girls who express themselves and play with smiles on their faces as much as they do with blood splashed across it and mud on their elbows. And the party goes all the way up into the stands, into people's cars, through their radios, and into their living rooms. And so anyone listening on 5 Live, if you enjoyed this World Cup, I'm losing my voice, it's so loud in here, but please come back for more, because I promise it is always this fun.
When's the party going to finish tonight?
Oh, tomorrow morning, chappers, we're rolling over.
Thank you very much, Claire. Claire Thomas with us on 5 Live Sport, leading our commentary team at Twickenham, alongside Kat Merchant and Philippa Tuttiat as well. Where England have won the Rugby Union World Cup by beating Canada by 33 points to 13. We'll keep you up to date with what's going on at the City Ground, where Sunderland lead Nottingham Forest by 1-0. As I walk the Bethpage Black course, we are ready for the 4 balls this afternoon. Already underway, they're all square at the moment, 3 of them out on the course. And after this morning's foursomes, remember, Europe lead by 8.5 points to 3.5. So we'll kick back into the golf here on 5 Live after Andrew Strachan in the news.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thanks, Mark. As we've been hearing on 5 Live, England have won the Women's Rugby World Cup for the 3rd time. They beat Canada 33-13 in the final at Twickenham in front of a record crowd of 82,000. Sir Keir Starmer has intensified his criticism of Reform UK, accusing the party of offering toxic divide and decline. The Reform leader, Nigel Farage, responded, saying the Prime Minister's language smacked of desperate total desperation. Our political correspondent Alex Forsyth is in Liverpool.
We've heard from Keir Starmer what I think is going to be the big focus of this conference, which is him trying to get back on the front foot with that incredibly strong language that he was using about Reform UK, telling a group of students earlier that the party's policies would tear this country apart. Of course, the backdrop to this conference is a pretty bumpy time for the Prime Minister. We've had resignations, sacking, internal disagreements over policy. So there's an awful lot for Keir Starmer to do in terms of convincing the party and the country that he's got the answers to their concerns.
Germany says it's considering the use of military force to protect its territory against drone incursions. Police in Denmark reported overnight that drones had flown for several hours near a Danish military airbase. The Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov accused Israel of seeking to blow up the entire Middle East. In a speech at the United Nations, he criticised Israel's use of force against the Palestinians and, as he put it, aggressive actions against Iran, Qatar, Yemen, Lebanon, Syria and Iraq. And Harrods has warned shoppers their personal data may have been stolen in an IT systems breach. The luxury department store in London says it's an isolated incident, as our business correspondent Mark Ashdown explains.
Customers will have got an email last night from Harrods admitting that, yes, some of their details may have been accessed. Things like names and contact details, but it was at pains to point out that no passwords and no payment details were accessed. And I think crucially here, Harrods said it was a third-party provider. It hasn't named them, not its own systems that were targeted.
It's 19 minutes past 6.